The cult of personality. I know your anger, I know your dreams. I've been anything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. Like Mussolini and Kennedy.
Hello, welcome to Thursday edition of the Voice of Ocala. Buddy Martin with you again. Glad to be here with you every weekday, 3 to 6. 5 o'clock, we turn to sports. And on kind of a slow news day, the Manti Te'o story just won't go away. I mean, I keep trying to forget about it, kill it off, and yet every time we do, it gets more legs. We'll talk about why that is in just a moment. Continuing on from yesterday, significant things happened in our city yesterday, in our county, which we can never really talk too much about. One of them is the importance of what happened with Silver Springs, the cabinet, governor's cabinet, approving the plan for Silver Springs to become a state park. And it's just going to have such a great impact on our community. I can't even begin to think of the ways to count them. But we'll talk more about that today because we've got Stan McLean, who was the point man for this project. Really started several years ago when he started talking about what a great ecotourism possibility there was with the forest and the springs and the park out there all at one time. And there's a lot of there are a lot of people out there who don't know what Silver Springs is, don't understand. I talked to someone today who had no idea Silver Springs itself and the Silver River State Park were different, thought they were exactly the same. So you'd be surprised that people, we take for granted they know what it is and what it was, but they don't. And one thing we do on this show is we keep repeating things ad nauseum so that ultimately the seventh or eighth time maybe it'll begin to make sense to some people who don't quite get it. Also, it's time to start talking about horses. Michael Compton is probably the most knowledgeable person I know about thoroughbreds in this area who writes about them. He writes on michaelwcompton.com, Blood Horse Magazine, freelancer, does a great job. He's going to join us today. We're going to talk about some of the Derby odds and the Eclipse Awards which took place, which a couple of Ocala horses won Eclipse Awards. Significant things like the Pulitzer in newspapers. So we'll talk with Michael. Then, of course, big win, 2 big wins last night in basketball. I say big. Florida's wasn't so big, except where the Gators came from when they were getting pounded by Georgia in the first 7-8 minutes and came back and won by 20. Scotty Wilbekin carried the team on the first half. And how about JJ's Miami Hurricanes? JJ, stand up proud, brother.
I tried to tell you earlier this week. We cracked the top 25, and now we're in there to stay.
Crushed Duke. Didn't just beat them.
No.
Crushed Duke. And
27-point win.
I heard one rumor, I don't know if it's a fact, that when Krzyzewski went home and had a practice that night, practice till 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if that's true or not. That's one of the rumors going around. But the Miami program is on the map now all of a sudden. When you beat a number one team, which I think is first time in 7 tries for them, they beat a number one team. We'll get in that sports story, and I know you're really honking about it.
I'm not going to act like I'm a big, I'm not going to act like I'm very knowledgeable about this basketball team because I'm not. Well, college basketball is not my sport, but they definitely look like a team to watch out for in the tournament.
But you are a front runner, so you'll be
now I'm a massive
no
fan.
question about it. So, we'll talk about that. Of course, there's the Harbaugh Bowl and all that stuff, which we'll get to as well. But I want to, again, go back to the fact that what important day yesterday was when Silver Springs became a reality as a state park. I think it's 171 state parks now. I didn't know that were many. There were that many. I looked it up yesterday. And on the same day, the most significant moment in business and commerce for this county since I've been living back here in nearly 5 years. The coming together of all these groups, a who's who of business at the Hilton, Ocala Hilton yesterday in the tent for the luncheon. Kevin Shiley was there. It's spelled Shiley. And what has happened, story in the front page of the paper today, that's what we call momentum. And sometimes I worry about on the show of being too much of a cheerleader for the city of Ocala and the county of Marion because I care about it a lot. And sometimes I probably sound like I'm the Chamber of Commerce. And certainly we've had our flaws. I've lived here a long time. I've seen them. off and on over the past half century. And I just think it's significant when we get to something like this. This month, we waited for this day at Silver Springs now for years. The business community, I think, is beginning to rally. I sense a rally with the business community. Now, how will that play out? I don't know. How will Silver Springs play out? I don't know. There's a whole big chunk still missing. I don't quite understand and won't for a while, because what I want to hear next at some point, and it probably won't happen for months, at least maybe a year or more, is to what piece of this is going to mean new commerce at Silver Springs, how are we going to get the return on investment? I say investment meaning the state's money, and how are we going to benefit from this from our business community? Will ecotourism really be the shot that we need here? 44% of our county is green space. And we talked about that yesterday. One person disagrees with me, saying young professionals don't like that. I can't see that. I can't see why young professionals wouldn't, based on my experience living in Colorado, which I did for 17 years off and on, is that one of the great things about the city of Denver is it's a great place for young people. Young professionals, loaded with young professionals. And what do they do on the weekends? Most of them go to the mountains. Whether it's the summertime or whether it's the wintertime, they go to the mountains. And that's green space. So in my opinion, if you're serious about wanting to develop new industry, it's right here. We're not building anything in terms of we're not building an ecosystem here. We got an ecosystem. In addition to the springs, you've got the National Forest and the State Park. And anyway, I don't know if we really understand how important this is yet. I guess only time will tell. Palace Entertainment, of course, spending the $4 million to improve the site, key, of course. It's going to just be interesting to see how it plays out. So, anyway, I want to make that point again because yesterday was a big day, was a significant day, and something we will be talking about a lot on this program. Stan McLean, again, County Commissioner, will be here at 4:20 to talk about it, and we'll see what we can find out in the meantime. Meanwhile, we will step aside. We'll come back. We'll talk more about here's how the New York City tabloids handled the Hillary Clinton deal. This is what happens when you see a story in the tabloids. Quite interesting. And Matt Tio's story, I'm going to give you a sample of what this person sounds like. You tell me if this is a male or a female after you hear it. And we'll talk about that next right here on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family-first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none, and we have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Why is everyone so obsessed with virtual reality and high definition? My neighbor came over yesterday to show me the photographs he took of the pansies and dianthus that I got from Kenny's Place Nursery. He had this electronic pad, and with the flip of his finger, he showed me these beautiful shots he took in my garden. Then he said, you can almost smell them. That's when I used my finger and motioned him to the garden, and then pointing with my cursor, also known as my finger, I pointed toward the real flowers from Kenny's Place Nursery, and I said, I can smell them. Instead of virtual reality, I enjoy real reality. But it is more than the beauty of the pansies and dianthus and more than their fragrance. It's the way they move in the breeze. It's the butterflies and bees that are attracted to them. You know, the plants I get from Kenny's Place Nursery from my garden in the real world provide me with an outdoor sanctuary to escape from that virtual world. Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. Kenny's Place Nursery, where the plants, the people, and the mission are all beautiful.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
This is Tom Schmitz live in the WOCA studios with this news break brought to you by the Country Club of Ocala. The primary advocates for local business on Wednesday unveiled a 5-point program to create thousands of new jobs and pump hundreds of millions of dollars in new investment into the community. It is the first mass gathering of business leaders since Ocala's two biggest business groups merged. The Ocala-Marion County Chamber and the Economic Partnership, or CEP, offered a plan to create 3,500 new jobs and produce $225 million in new capital improvements over the next 5 years. CEP President and CEO Kevin Shealy told hundreds of business, civic, and government leaders that reaching those marks would require them to invest more out of their own pockets into the organization's mission. This news break was brought to you by the Country Club of Ocala. If you would like to schedule a special event at one of Ocala's premier facilities, call 237-6644 today.
Back to the program, Tom, talking about that business meeting yesterday. As I said yesterday, very significant for a couple of reasons. Actually, there's one we did not bring up, and I want to thank Brad Rogers for bringing it and telling us about it yesterday, and I neglected to mention it in his editorial today. It got lost in the shuffle of all the things that happened on the partnership between the Chamber and the Economic Development Council, and the 50-year lease between the Florida Horse Park and the state for 500 acres of the Cross Florida Greenway was extended to 2072. Now, why is this important? It means the horse park now can get long-term financing for what's going on there, and they can continue to build a first-class equine events center. And it also ties in beautifully with Silver Springs and the public access. The horse park now is going to bring in people. Also, you've got the Santos Bike Trail, which by all accounts, what people tell me, I've never ridden on it, is a first-class facility that people come from all of the state of Florida, and actually outside Florida, to take the trail. Ultimately, and I think it even might be true now, but I'm not sure, this all hooks up. The ecotourism potential is fantastic. So now you add that in with the horse park, the green belt, you got the bike trail, and you got Silver Springs, which becomes, as I believe Brad called it, a mecca for hiking and biking and recreation and what have you. So, and getting back to my point earlier, you don't think that attracts young business professionals? Boy, I would think if I had a chance to have a company and I want to relocate my company down here, and I wanted something for my young professionals to do, if it's somebody from Silicon Valley, maybe you build your business out there near the bike trail, and you have opportunity to do incredible things there. So I want to mention that again, the renewal of that lease for 50 years. I know people like Whit Palmer worked extremely hard on this too, as Brad said. So 3 things actually happened. We mentioned too, the business community getting together and having this 580 people at luncheon. The news about the horse park, and the business luncheon yesterday as well. What are you doing over here? You're making all kind of noises.
There's a reason.
Rattling around, and my mic's going out, the headset's going out.
That's because your headset's not plugged in all the way, but you won't listen. People in Silicon Valley, I thought about this last night, and I called a friend of mine, Natalie, who used to live out in that part of California, and she said that they would think it was nothing. They would get off on the weekend, and they would all go to the Lake Tahoe region as quick as they could get there.
Yeah,
just to go hiking and bike riding. And that's the type of situation you and all the leaders and everyone says Silver Springs is here. It's that exact kind of release.
Yep, absolutely. I believe we have a caller, JJ. Who is it? Hugh, how are you, Hugh?
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Say, what a wonderful day today, huh?
Beautiful.
This is calendar. This is what you live here for,
It is. It is.
Just a quick thought on Silver Springs. I personally feel that this Palace outfit is getting away with murder with $4 million. $4 million ain't going to do a heck of a lot there. After all the years of letting that place go to hell, $4 million is just it's just hardly anything. And they got away with murder on it. That's why they're probably very happy to go in by October.
Could be, but as far as I'm concerned, I like the idea that the $4 million goes right into their improvements to the springs.
Yeah.
And the state now will take it over as a park.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't want to sit down and go through 10 years of litigation.
Yeah.
I'm tired of waiting and whatever.
Exactly.
Let's move on. Take the $4 million and use our ingenuity.
Yeah.
We have enough smart people in this community. The state appears to be very. I mean, right now we're working. As I think the editorial said too, the example of the state working in tandem with the county.
Yeah.
And even to a certain extent the city. We're working together for a common good.
Right.
We've got a good thing going. My grandmother used to call that looking a gift horse in the mouth when you got something. I say take the $4 million, plow it back in. Let's get moving. Let's get this thing in the state park. Let's get a plan out there, an overlay of some kind. And the business community, the commerce will build up around it. But the Springs concessionaires, which are very important because I want to make sure that some locals get a chance for that.
Right. I wonder if on the bargaining table is if it was a higher amount than $4 million, and that's what they came down to, or it'd be interesting to find that out. But like I said earlier, $4 million. I mean, they want to tear up that parking lot. You're talking $1 million right there just to redo that thing.
Probably right.
And then tear a couple of billion before you know it. $4 million is poof. And but like you say, it's progress. We've got the ball's going in the right direction. It's okay. We're going to have to eat the $4 million. They're out of here. We're going to take over, and it's going to be our park, our state park, and that's what we want.
Plus, it doesn't go on. The damages just stop.
If
we wait 5 more years, the damage will be worse.
Yeah, I know.
So we got to do something now.
Yeah.
We'll have Stan McLean on today at 4:20.
Yeah.
We'll ask him that question. Was that on the table? And we're not privy to how that went in terms of negotiations.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to see what the figures
good question.
were. Yeah, it'd be a good question to ask, But anyways, we're in the right direction. Everything is going good, and it's a great day in Silver Springs and Ocala. And let's hope that October 1st comes around and we get going on her.
I can't wait for it. I'm
very
excited.
I can go canoeing down that river and whatnot.
Kayaking. You can't do that in Milwaukee this time of year.
Oh well, you can walk on the river.
There you go.
Okay, thanks a lot, you guys.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, bye now.
I brought this book in today for a reason. Because of Silver Springs. And every time I go back and look at these pictures, this is the book we talked about last week. It's called Riverboat Landing. And Michael Mason got together with Ed Mueller, and they put this beautiful book out, which we have a copy of, and it has historic pictures of downtown Ocala, what have you, in it. But it has the photographs of steamboats coming down the river. And you've got the William Howard and Eureka. You've got shots of the Hiawatha. I'll tell you how inspired I was. I kid you not. When I saw this photograph, this one here at the bottom, the Hiawatha, I actually got out a pencil and a pad and got a drawing pad, and I tried to sketch that. I thought to my wife, I said, if I've sketched this where you painted, I would love to have a painting of this huge. Now, you can't do this anymore than this, at least at this point in time, because there's not enough water. But think about these boats coming down the river. If we ever got the stream going again, and we were able to even quit, we got Robin Dam out there, which is, of course, dams up to the water. I don't know all the stuff, but if we get the river widening again and the water gets up and we can begin to have these pleasure boats come down there and have parties and dinner and dancing, I think it'd be a wonderful way to supplement ecotourism. Imagine you like my friend Kevin McDonald says, he had a friend that flew in here for 4 days. He shot a turkey one day and the deer the next day. Now, some of us don't hunt, but to some people that's huge. Getting a turkey sometimes takes you all year.
Turkey,
you get one.
Deer, then you maybe get an alligator. You're set.
Yeah. And now here's the deal. He was here 4 days with nothing else to do, basically. So now if he had this ecotourism place, he could go all out through the trails. Who knows? Kayaking, canoeing, camping, all that kind of stuff. It would be a great way to spend 3 or 4 days.
Well, I would love to get the dam to release some water to make it where boats could maybe get up and down the river again, pleasure boats like you're talking about, because you've been to New Orleans, haven't you?
Of course, many times.
Now, have you ever ridden the Mississippi Queen?
I have not ridden the Mississippi Queen, but I've been on the one that docks at the Hilton there.
Right, the Mississippi Queen. It's a dinner boat, and it takes you out. It's an old paddle boat, and you go out and you have a nice dinner and you dance, and it's a 4 or 5 hour trip, and it's like $100 a person, and it is a perfect date night.
Yeah.
Dr. Buddy would recommend that.
It's wonderful. My wife always talked about the Delta Queen in Cincinnati, where she was. See this picture? I'm sure I can't show it. This is what Silver Springs looked like when I grew up. You see that right
with
there?
The high dive. That may be you on the high dive.
That's a 10-meter there, whatever
that
is.
You on the high dive?
Yeah, right. That wouldn't be me. But there's the float. Okay?
Right.
See all the people on the float?
You had to swim out there. That's when you became an adult.
12, 13 years old, not an adult, but you came of age when you could leave this sandy beach and swim all the way out to the float. Then you made it.
Right, because that's where all the cool kids were.
Absolutely. And this water was crystal clear. Like I said many times before, I call it blue lips. When it's 90 degrees outside and you're swimming in 72-degree water, it gets cold. It gets cold. Anyway, just I wanted to bring that out because I keep thinking, what a wonderful place this is, and what could it be if we return? I don't know about releasing the dam. Maybe that's not even feasible. I'm just saying, what a wonderful facility, what great resources we have there, what unbelievable potential. A huge day yesterday. It's step one. There are others to be made. I can't wait to see what happens to Silver Springs.
You're waxing a little nostalgic, aren't you?
Well, I mean, this is before my time. I don't remember these. I'm just saying.
No, but you remember the float.
Oh yeah, of course I remember that. But I'm talking about way before I was ever born. These big riverboat paths. I mean, remember that, like somebody pointed out, this was the main method of transportation from Jacksonville.
It was. That's how. And people don't
realize.
Cars. People don't realize the families that came down on those boats.
Yeah.
Like Melrose and all those areas, and Orange Springs, which is just north of here, northeast of here. Boats came down. The Standards, the Vanderbilts, the Getty family, they all vacationed in this part of Florida. The who's who of money at the turn of the 20th century vacationed in this area and used this prime area we call Silver Springs and all as their vacation.
Ultimately,
getaway.
Many of them bought horse farms here.
Exactly.
I don't know if it was related, but the Vanderbilts and others like that did. Anyway, so I'm really excited about this song, the Silver Springs. I sense others are excited about it too. I want to share that thought today. I want to get back to this story that won't die. It seems like every day when I say, okay, I'm tired of Manti Te'o, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
JJ finds something else to show that he's lying.
Actually, he didn't find it at all. I happened to hear something. And so I'm going to wait for a second. We come back, and we're going to listen to this voice. And I want everybody to listen real close. There's a couple of bites. Listen to it very close. And you tell me if this is possible, this is not a woman, okay? Now, and you'll know the reason why. If you haven't heard, we'll tell you about it when you come back. Tell me this is not a woman. And if it's not, no wonder Manti Te'o got fooled. But we'll tell you about it. He was on Katie Couric, and there's just a couple of sound bites, and we'll play those for you, and we'll let you decide for yourself. We'll decide for ours. Also coming up at 4:20, Stan McClain will be here. We can't wait to talk to him about Silver Springs. And lots more to come your way today on The Voice of Ocala, so stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on The Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price to fixed rate allowance. Offers don't combine.
I'm a car dealer who is feeling blue. I have too many cars and don't know what to do. If you're willing to put down $1 or $2, my misfortune can be a bonus for you.
Hello, this is Chris Beers from Prestige Auto Sales, and I'm going loony. Last month I took in too many trades, and now I've got cars in spades. Plus, additional cars are arriving daily. I have no idea where to put them, and I need your help. That means this week, 27 cars must go.
So if you've got the desire to drive a nicer, newer car in $2, you're in luck. It's my New Year, Blue Year Drive for 2 here sale.
Bad credit? Don't sweat it.
Our For the People credit approval process can help you drive away today, even if it takes some extra rhyming and reasoning with the banks to get it done. Our lot is full, and that's no bull. $2 down is all you'll pay to drive a nicer, newer car today.
I'm Chris Beers from Prestige Auto Sales, and I'm a dealer for the people. See us in Ocala or Bellevue.
Or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
As a business owner, nothing compares to the sense of pride you feel when unlocking your business first thing in the morning. In this moment, it doesn't matter if you've saved money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if the business down the street has the same insurance you do. What matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. Call George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today at 352-732-3191.
They've served our country. They've kept us free. And they need your help.
We're sitting in Veterans Park. You can't sit here not realizing that you're surrounded by heroes. There are a lot of heroes in our community. A lot of heroes, unfortunately, are not in good financial shape. They're hurting both physically and financially. We step in and help directly. Our role is to reach out to them. We're there to help the veteran. We do counseling. We do outreach. Sometimes it's just coming into the office and sitting down and saying, hey, I've got a problem, and you're talking to another veteran who understands that problem.
Everybody who works for the Vets Helping Vets are awesome, and they are so kind to everybody. They're like my second family. They really are.
They have been there during the holidays. I have gotten unexpected visits, assistance.
Vets Helping Vets of Marion County needs your help. Call today, 352-433-2320, and pledge your support to Vets Helping Vets of Marion County.
It really has been a blessing.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local medical people have done and are currently doing. RenStar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. RenStar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. RenStar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
This is Tom Schmitz live in the WOCA studios with this news break brought to you by Gateway Bank. A fire that started in an outdoor porch closet spread in one building Thursday morning at the Paddock Park Apartments. Ocala Fire Rescue got a call at 11:02 a.m. and we were on the scene in minutes. The blaze was in Building 2000 at the complex, located off Southwest 41st Street. Ocala Fire Rescue Assistant Fire Chief Brian Stuthoff said 2 of the 8 units in the building were completely destroyed by fire or smoke. He also said the roof of the building caved in. 11 fire trucks and 28 firefighters battled the fire. A little after noon, they were still there taking care of hot spots. This news break was brought to you by Gateway Bank, your new old-fashioned bank. Join Buddy every Friday for Community Gazette Day at Gateway Bank.
All right, back in a moment, we'll hear the voice that Manti Te'o heard in just a moment. But you guys, when you order in a menu, when you go someplace like a chain place, whatever,
yes,
when you look at what they have to eat, do you look at the picture and order off the picture?
Never.
No. Never.
No.
No.
Do you know
Most
why?
Most of the time, they don't even have pictures.
If you want, no, but I'm saying the places that do.
Do you know why I don't?
Never looks like
because it'll never be brought out like the picture, and then I'd be disappointed.
Okay, so if you had let's just say you ordered a hamburger,
right,
and it showed like two patties on there, and,
right,
you know, all the fixings, and it had fries on the side,
right,
and it had pickles on the side and slaw, whatever,
yep,
and it's, you know, the price was $7.50, whatever it was,
right,
and you ordered it and they came out, what would you expect to get?
I'd expect to get two patties. I'd expect to get a bun that doesn't even resemble anything like the nice photo. It's a lot different. I wouldn't expect to get a big, fluffy, nice, fat burger like in the picture at all, because that's not reality.
Now, some places do that. They're pretty good. Like, I've always had good success at Bob Evans at breakfast. They do a good job on that. When you order off that looks pretty good. They do a good job there. Today I went to another place, which I won't even name the place. It's a pretty high-end breakfast place. I had to meet somebody somewhere. And it was actually a late breakfast. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to go the traditional, you know, usually we're three poached eggs at Wolfie's route.
Right, I know. Were you out, just curiosity, were you out off 200?
Yes.
I figured.
Yeah. So, and I went to this place because our guests wanted to go there. And I thought, well, I'm not going to go for the standard, you know, what I order at Wolfie's I eat there twice a week, 3 times a week. So I looked at the menu, and I ordered this, some kind of, looked like it was frittata, and it had quiche with it.
Right.
Okay? So the food comes, and I'm looking at it, and I'm eating some of the quiche. It was okay. There were 2 little tiny pieces of fruit, like, you know, I mean, really, a slice of an orange and a piece of a melon looked like it's about as big as half of a ballpoint pen. And, you know, and I thought, and it had also, this picture had sausage on it. No sausage. So I thought, okay, maybe my bad, but let me just ask.
I looked at the wrong picture.
Well, I asked the waitress to come over. I said, could you excuse me? I'm not trying to be rude here. Would you bring the menu over? Let me look at it again. So I opened it up. I said, this right here. I said, I ordered this, but I don't see the sausage. I don't see the many pieces of fruit. She says, oh, this is both frittata and the other dish. This is both things. So I said, well, I really wanted the frittata more than anything else, and what you brought me was the quiche. And she said, okay, well, I can exchange it. Well, of course, she brought the frittata. It was nothing like I thought it would be either. And the fruit was about half as many pieces as there was. So I decided to go ahead and just call it a day and say, okay, my bad. But it seems to me there's some kind of liability in there that it has to look something like what you ordered off the picture.
Did you ever see what was the Michael Douglas movie where he flipped out?
Jack Nicholson.
No, it's Michael Douglas.
Five Easy Pieces.
No,
Jack Nicholson.
This was Michael Douglas with Robert Duvall. He was a businessman that got fired. He walked into the burger joint and he ordered a burger, and it was a nice, beautiful picture. And what they brought him out was 2 pieces of bread smashed together with a burger on it, and he pulled out a MAC-10 and shot the place up.
Yeah.
That's what you were feeling like this morning.
No, I wouldn't feel that bad.
Not the MAC-10, but they
no, I didn't really get mad about it.
Falling down.
I'm more mad at myself.
That they duped you.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't totally fraudulent. Don't get me wrong. It was close, but nothing like I thought it might look like.
I know the establishment, and I won't mention it, but I know the establishment you're talking about, and that's the exact reason I refused to do business with them.
Well, here's the other part.
That exact
it was
reason.
Very expensive.
Of course it is.
The breakfast was costly. Very costly.
You order something, it doesn't come out right, and then they tell you with a straight face, $15.
Yeah, I wish it was only $15.
But I mean,
anyway,
no, that's individual. $15 for an individual breakfast.
Yeah, well, let's just say that
they look you right in the face and smile at you.
Yeah,
it was
at least that for me and Aunt Joni.
Well,
for Miss
before
Joni.
we get into Manti, I got the same kind of complaint. Do you know these? In this day and age with the gas cards, where you go to the grocery store and you shop,
I got them. You get some left over.
You shop at a grocery store and your purchase at the grocery store goes to your gas card.
I got them in my car,
and you get money off gallons of gas.
Well, I don't get that. I get gas.
This is like I go to Winn-Dixie. I shop at Winn-Dixie, and you use your Winn-Dixie card, and then you can take your Winn-Dixie card to local Shell stations and scan it.
Okay. All right. I don't have that one.
Well, just to FYI for people, watch what the people that are ringing your stuff in do. Because today I was able to save 25 cents a gallon off a gallon of gas. That's a pretty significant savings. From $3.45 to $3.20, easy math. I get out there to pump, I'm pumping gas, and I look down, and the guy's only set it for $3.30. He's cheated me out of 10 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, how many people probably don't pay attention to that, because on the receipt it said I was getting my 25 cents a gallon. Yeah. And I went back in, and the guy said, really? You're coming back in? Oh, you got 10 gallons of gas, 10 cents. You're coming back in over $1? That was his attitude. And I was like, no, I'm not coming back in over $1. I'm coming back in to make sure you know you're not cheating me, whether it was $1 or $100. So, and I don't want to say where the place was, but it's the one behind the Winn-Dixie on 441.
Well, I had worse than
that.
I had one day at a gallon 200. I got a pump gas, and it more went in than I have in my tank. My tank is a 16 and a half, and 17 and a half gallons went in.
Well, how's that possible?
Well, because obviously they messed with the pump. It wasn't that much gas going in the whole time. Obviously,
the whole time.
Yeah. So I mean, how many times that happened? Where you say, I don't have 17.5 gallon tank. I got 16.5 gallon tank, but they charged me for 17.5 gallon. Where'd the other gallon go? You know,
exactly. And they're making money that way.
Right. Now, let me just say this. I will say, one of my pet peeves. We'll get off gas. One of my pet peeves is these places that have the signs up and say
cash or credit price.
Price $3.25, and below it says cash or whatever the name of the company is, BP credit card.
Right, yeah.
It's fine print. Now, I'm paying with a debit card.
Right. That's the same as cash, as far as I'm concerned.
It's not.
But they don't do it that way.
Well, guess what? They've changed the rule on one of the gas stations. Now, they will, with debit cards, they will give you the discount. So that was a positive step, because that was misleading. So I think I'm not sure, I think it might have been BP that changed it. So
speaking of misleading, these voices, we're about this voice.
Yeah, let me get into that right now. So if you haven't heard them, I can't imagine you haven't, maybe you haven't, that the latest on the Manti Te'o story is that the voice that he fell in love with on the phone was that of not a woman but a man. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask JJ to pull these up. JJ, crank them up high so we can hear them. Let's just listen real close, all three of us now, without any prejudice, and see what we hear. All right, number one.
I'm just letting you know you got here, and I'm getting ready for my first session, and I just want to call to keep you posted. I miss you. I love you. Bye.
All right, that's her first therapy session. This is her accusing him of having a girl in his room.
Right.
I don't know who answered your phone. I don't care. This is my last time trying.
Alright, that one kind of stinks. This is a good one.
Hey, babe, I'm just calling to say goodnight. I love you. I know that you're probably doing homework or you're with the boys or grabbing me. What a fatty. So I just want to say I love you and good night. And I'll be okay tonight. I'll do my best. Yeah. So get your rest and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you so much, friend. Sweet dreams.
Okay, there's this one part right here where she says, yeah, that's a female thing.
I love you. I know that you're probably doing homework or you're with the boys or grabbing me. What a fatty. So I just want to say I love you and good night. And I'll be okay tonight. I'll do my best. Yeah. So
right there.
Get your rest.
Girls do that, buddy. All the time.
I love you so much, friend.
That's.
Sweet dreams.
This is supposed to be Tuiasa Sopo. Is what
acting
they're saying.
As a woman, buddy. What
Over
do you?
1,000 phone calls, by the way.
What do you say, buddy? Is that a female or male?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you here now. Then when they played it, I could hear a little bit in there. I felt like maybe it was a man acting as a woman. I didn't think that the first time I heard it, but upon rehearing it, I'm a little less sure about that.
But 1,000 phone calls?
Well, I'm just saying, with JJ, we don't have 1,000 phone. We have little snippets. By the way, got them off KatieKirk.com. Be sure and give them credit for that. I'm just saying that my preconceived notion after hearing it was that can't be a man. I'm only saying now I have some doubt about that. So that's my point.
It could have been a man.
The first two are so garbled that you can't tell one way or the other. But that third one, because of the stuff that is said, I love you so much. The comment and everything, hanging out with the guys or the girls, whatever. Girls say those things. A guy who's acting like a girl, unless he's done extensive research into girl dialect and how girls talk and all, he's not going to have those traits in his voice because those are said without thinking.
This is so weird, man. Just thinking about it, it's like, what if, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird for a lot of reasons, not the least of which you hate to be a guy and think you've been thinking about another guy.
I want to see what this Tuiasa Sopo, why can't somebody interview him? I want to hear what he sounds like.
He's not going to talk. His lawyers won't let him talk.
I want to hear what he sounds like.
I want to hear his voice because
he's not going to.
He got a voice like mine, trust me.
Because he might be a feminine dude.
Let me get Tom. Tom's doing your girly voice there.
I got no girl.
Imagine Tom trying to catfish somebody.
Yeah.
I got no.
Hey, what's up, man?
This is Marie.
Hey, sir.
Give me this try.
I'll give you. Here we go.
All right.
What's up?
Hey, what up?
Hi, honey. How are you?
Yeah.
Is that you, honey?
Hey, Manti, call
me. I don't know what to think of this, buddy. This story is getting more awesome by the day.
It is getting weird, and I'll say one thing gotta go. But what throws me a little bit, and Tom, you touched upon this, is that it almost seems like a woman's mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the voice, but it's the mentality of what this person said. It sounded very female. Now, this guy may be a master of disguise.
And he may be effeminate. You don't know. Yeah. He may be an effeminate male.
Yeah.
And if he is,
it's natural.
That would be it.
All right, we'll take a break, come back. We've got tweets and quotes coming up at 4:20. Stan McClain, County Commissioner, talking about Silver Springs. Lots more to come right here in the Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. Yeah, the source.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Hi, I'm Lisa Midget with Kinetic Motion Fitness, Ocala's premier small group and personal training fitness studio. Did you know you can achieve all your fitness goals, whether that's losing weight, getting fit, or training for a personal best, all with no membership fees? Have you ever been embarrassed or intimidated at a big gym because you're not a Greek god or a size 0 supermodel? Have you ever felt like your gym would rather you not even show up? At KMF, we have a team approach that focuses on small classes and personal training, and you'll feel like family, not just another number. No more boring treadmills or endless reps. Our classes are fun, energetic, and get you the results you want. And I should know, with the help of our great trainers, I lost over 100 pounds in 8 jean sizes, and I did it using no heavy equipment and no magic pills, just fun and effective workouts. And yes, I did say fun. Come join us at KMF. Visit our website at kmfocala.com or like us on Facebook. Again, that was kmfocala.com.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to recording artist Sydney Rose. She's calling in from New York to tell us about her new CD, Rise, and she's going to give us some tips for tweens and teens so they can take their talent from the playroom to the stage.
Then Winging It with Brad Rosema and Josh Verdonk.
And a brand new show called Ocala Magazine Radio, hosted by John Sotomayor, and he'll be bringing the magazine to life when he interviews guests live on the radio that you've read about in Ocala Magazine.
Open for debate, where you get to choose the topic.
Victoria Wynn will be on the air with us. She's a speaker and an author, and she's going to tell us about the Lies Project, how to dissect the lies that we tell ourselves.
Christina Villegas is an adjunct professor at California State University. She's going to be speaking about the new study that asks the question, have domestic violence programs delivered on their promises to women?
And then Dr. Leanna Wen will be with us from Harvard Medical School. She'll tell us about the book titled When Doctors Don't Listen, How to Avoid Misdiagnosis and Unnecessary Tests. All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
In Clark, we trust.
Hi, this is Clark Howard. Join me every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA 1370, The Source.
Well, the new year is upon us, and that means getting to those forgotten projects that you promised you would. So whether you're tackling a small honey-do list or building the Taj Mahal, Sunbelt Rentals will help you get the job done right with the right tools. From carpet cleaners to excavators, Sunbelt Rentals has what you need. So what are you waiting for? Get it done. Rent it now. From Sunbelt Rentals, located on Highway 27, just a half-mile east of I-75. Or visit sunbeltrentals.com. Get it done. Rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals.
Hello? Can you hear me? Because if you can, then so can your customers. Radio works. Call today to advertise your business right here on WOCA 1370, The Source.
1370 WOCA.
WOCA.
All right, so more drama. Last night, Nicki Minaj walked off.
Thank God. Oh, wait, that's out.
It's got to be a setup, man. You really think
here's
they
what
hate
happened?
each other?
Here's what happened behind the scenes. I got the scoop on that. And Nicki Minaj, her dialogue went like this to Mariah Carey, who she was fighting with. Don't call me a bitch. Don't call me inadequate. You're going to get back. Just fall back. You don't know blank. Don't lose your head. Yes, don't tell me I'm inadequate. Maybe you're inadequate. You're insecure, running down your resume every 5 minutes. Every time you patronize me, I'm going to take it back. You got effing problem. Handle it.
Those are big words for them.
Yeah. Now Carey, Mariah responded, oh, why, who do I have here? A 3-year-old sitting around me? And so Minaj says, I told her I'm not putting up with her. Her highness over there. Wasn't that clean? I'm not sitting here for 20 minutes and have her run down every resume every 5 minutes, and so on and so. And Carrie answered, Mariah said, oh, why? In the midst of Minaj's loud reaction, it sounded like Carrie brought up the subject of her 2 children, whom she would like to be spending time with versus arguing. So anyway, last night I watched this. Here's the odd thing about this.
I thought you're not going to watch it.
Well, I went back to it because the stories are not about them.
Right.
The stories are about the people.
But that's what they're making it.
But
they're making it about.
I don't care about that stuff. Here's what I care about. The voice of Charlotte, the homeless guy off the street. They brought him in, and he was unbelievably. They showed
What's
pictures
his name?
of him.
I'm about to find
the
him.
voice of Charlotte, a homeless guy who makes money singing in the streets and shares his money with other homeless people, by the way. And he came in and he blew them away. Just blew them away. Anyway, those are the stories I care about. I don't care about the judges. But let me say this. I never thought I'd say this. I kind of take up with Nicki Minaj here. Because she was trying to make a point that the other judges are going to kind of demand that the contestants say, are they country or are they not country? You know, and she said, look, maybe they don't know. They don't have to tell you what they are. They haven't got to define what they let them be who they want to be. And they said, no, I hear country in there. You need to be country. And so on that point, I agree with Nicki Minaj.
Well, but where I got took umbrage with Nicki is she said when she asked Randy Jackson, "Who are you to think you know everything?" And Randy said, "I've only got 30 years in the business."
Yeah, well, she
was like, "Oh yeah, I guess my 3 doesn't matter then."
Yeah, that's kind of brash.
Well, compared to 30, you're damn right it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, it's anyway, I just say that's the deal. The story is not the judges, but in this particular argument, I took up for Nicki Minaj, who I don't like, by the way, but I did. All right, here's today's tweets and quotes.
Have you ever heard a Nicki Minaj song?
No.
Please never hear it.
I'm not on this program either. Let's do a little tweets and quotes today. Robert Browning says, "When the fight begins within himself, a man's worth something." This is pretty good. It comes from a pretty good book, Proverbs 17:28. Pretty good advice. Even fools seem smart when they are quiet. And finally, this is for Tom. "My problem is that I appeal to everyone that can do me absolutely no good." Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah, the New York Post really came after Hillary yesterday. Got a picture of Hillary and about the little confrontation she had with Ron Johnson, and they had some ugly headlines, and they had a photo. The accompanying the photo was another photo of Bill Clinton. It says, "No wonder Bill's afraid. Hillary explodes with rage at Benghazi hearing," as if to say she was the problem with this whole thing. But and then the next to the box was, "The lady has some temper." New York Post and all those tabloids will eat you up in New York City for sure. The tabloids in New York attacking Hillary Clinton for her testimony. All right, that wraps up hour 1. Coming up next, 420, County Commissioner Stan McClain talking about Silver Springs right here on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Indiana town, had a good-looking mama who never was around, but she grew up tall and she grew up right with them Indiana boys on an Indiana night.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name. If you need a sign or a banner for your yard or your business or your campaign, I'd recommend you go to Signs Unlimited at 318 South Magnolia in Ocala. Screen printing, embroidery, digital graphics. Do what I did when we needed signs for the Save the Marion Theater Group. Go see Vic Buttermore at Signs Unlimited if you want quality work with a fast turnaround from somebody who is deeply committed to his community and always ready to assist you. There's a reason Vic's slogan is, "It's our business to make your business better." Sign up for Signs Unlimited. Call 732-7341 today. Recently, I had a great conversation with General Manager Pat Murray on the special events at Country Club of Ocala.
We have a lot of events, special events here that are geared towards the family. Easter comes to mind. We have an Easter bunny who hops around on the driving range. We usually hide somewhere in a neighborhood of 3,000 eggs and turn them loose and let them go harvest the eggs. We have a great family celebration here on the 4th of July where it's a traditional cookout, if you will. And as the sun goes down, the driving range becomes alive with probably one of the better fireworks displays in the area. Breakfast with Santa is a big deal.
Country Club of Ocala, where the Easter Bunny, Santa, and all the children, large and small, are a big deal on every special occasion. For more information, call 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of the Monday Gator Report right here on The Source.
1370 WOCA.
Yes, George.
I can't get the car started, and I need to get to Devon Self-Storage in Ocala and unclutter the garage.
Oh, George, don't worry. Devon Self-Storage in Ocala has a free move-in truck now. Just ask for John or Michael. They will gladly help you. George, you better call 352-873-0777.
Oh, thank you, Annalise.
Say hi to Gordy for me.
Yes, I will, Annalise.
George, with Devon Self-Storage in Ocala, your life just got easier.
Yes, Annalise, yes.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Making a list of 3 things that go well every day increased the happiness levels of volunteers. And the longer volunteers continued to write down what made them grateful, the better they felt. For every 1 point increase in our body mass index, scientists say we'll experience a 1 point decrease in memory. Stand as far away from sick people as possible and do not get into a confined space with them like an elevator.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
They've served our country. They've kept us free. And they need your help.
We're sitting in Veterans Park. You can't sit here not realizing that you're surrounded by heroes. There are a lot of heroes in our community. A lot of heroes, unfortunately, are not in good financial shape. They're hurting both physically and financially. We step in and help directly. Our role is to reach out to them. We're there to help the veteran. We do counseling. We do outreach. Sometimes it's just coming into the office and sitting down and saying, hey, I've got a problem, and you're talking to another veteran who understands that problem.
Everybody who works for the Vets Helping Vets are awesome, and they are so kind to everybody. They're like my second family. They really are.
They have been there during the holidays. I have gotten unexpected visits, assistance.
Vets Helping Vets of Marion County needs your help. Call today, 352-433-2320, and pledge your support to Vets Helping Vets of Marion County.
It really has been a blessing.
Look who just walked in the room. Joel Wiesner from What's Up Ocala. Hey, Joel, I'm looking for something to do this weekend. You got any ideas?
Absolutely. Check out our event calendar online at www.whatsupocala.com, and there is plenty of events there for you. Daily news updates to event reviews and magazine articles.
Really?
We've organized it all in one place online for you to cut through all of the hassle of finding something to do this weekend. We have a daily event calendar, a bi-monthly magazine, and we also do daily news articles.
All right, Joel, that's perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah, whatsupocala.com.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
When your kid is having a tantrum, and if you've ever told them that you'll leave them there if they don't shape up, you're not alone. A study in the International Journal of Psychology says it was the most common lie parents tell their kids. Next, that they'll buy them something if they behave. Not everyone is meant to be a combat soldier, but the top man at the Pentagon says everyone deserves a chance. He said so today as he announced he was lifting the military's long-standing ban on women serving in direct combat. We may have seen the worst of the flu season. Health officials say the number of confirmed cases is beginning to drop in many states. That said, you can still get sick. And the best way to prevent this kind of illness is by getting the shot. Well, how does $2.50 Chuck sound to you? Grocery chain Trader Joe's is doing the inevitable. It's raising the price of its popular bargain-priced wine, which had been as cheap as $1.99 a bottle for years. This is ABC News. The Super Bowl...
Love hardwood? Get it for up to 59% less at Lumber Liquidators Hardwood Flooring Sale.
Bellawood pre-finished Brazilian hardwood is up to 47% less. Pre-finished birch just $169 a square foot. Our best laminates are 20% off or already incredibly low prices. Plus, get special extended financing. Don't miss out. These unheard of deals are available only while supplies last. Hardwood flooring sale is going on now, so visit lumberliquidators.com or get to your local store today.
We're mid-sized businesses, the engines of a smarter planet.
Our business depends on the movement of information.
Sure, we could use a free file transfer solution like FTP.
But if our file transfers, payments, or orders are interrupted, then our business is interrupted.
Which makes that free solution quite costly.
Instead, we rely on Sterling Connect Direct from IBM.
24/7, unattended, uninterrupted, continuous data transfer.
Learn more at ibm.com/engines/connect.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei. It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala. Hoo-ah!
You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
Like the man said, it's hour 2 of the program. If you missed hour 1, we listened to the voice that Manti Te'o heard of a so-called girlfriend, which allegedly was a man. And we deducted from that, or deduced from that, we're pretty sure there's some female influence in that voice. Tom and JJ pretty much think it's a woman. I'd have a doubt.
I'm not too quick to say that.
No?
No.
Well, you indicated earlier. I did too the first time I heard it.
The third one really makes you, but I think it could be a guy with a feminine voice.
It's possible. A lot of things are possible.
I know one thing. This story is very strange. That's
very
about
strange.
all I know. That's
very
a fact.
strange. Latest news, not much going on Slow News Day, but apparently there's been another threat from North Korea about a missile. Washington Post says a blunt and explicit threat from North Korea Thursday that its missile and nuclear programs would target the United States in a new phase of the anti-U.S. struggle revives a challenge the White House has tried unsuccessfully to contain the past 4 years. So they're winding down the what's happening over there in the Middle East, and they're dealing with another issue, and that would be North Korea. Their National Defense Commission, apparently that's their big military body, was very specific, more so than past warnings about what they're doing. They're ruling out now to talk about denuclearization. So that's, make of that what you will. A little sword dancing there.
You know, I know nuclear weapon and all it's serious issues.
I'll
and
say
everything, but
very.
I just hope we don't decide that this is another place we need to go play.
No, I don't think it's
street side cop.
Nah, I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think we're really that worried about North Korea.
But you have to be. Well,
if they got a nuclear weapon, you got to be.
You got to be concerned if they have a nuclear weapon. You do. So, anyway, at 4:20, Stan McLean will be here. We'll get a chance to talk to him about the Silver Springs situation. We reviewed yesterday's meeting at the Hilton, with the high-level meeting of all the business folks around town, and the new organization between the Chamber and EDC, calling it CEP now, and quite an impressive turnout yesterday, and significant news coming out of. They plan to spend millions of dollars, as Tom said in his update earlier. They have big ideas, which I like. Now the question is, can you pull them off? I mentioned also yesterday was a big day for several reasons for Ocala, the least of which was the Silver Springs announcement that Silver Springs will become a state park sometime in October. We're going to continue to pursue that thought with Stan McLean today. Also because of the business meeting yesterday, so many people were there, high-profile people, and were very enthusiastic about turning this town around and this community and this county and getting the business world buzzing again. And there was a bit of a buzz in that room yesterday, I must say. This more so than I've seen in anything quite some time. Also kind of got lost in that was the fact that the horse park, at least on the horse park for the state, now has gone through 2072. That gives them a chance out there now to get their act together and get that refinanced. And that will ultimately lead to the whole green space out there that includes the horse park, includes the Santos bike trail, and ultimately leads to Silver Springs where ecotourism ideally would come into play. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Let's see here. What else we got for headlines? I mentioned the fact that the tabloids are ripping on Hillary Clinton. The Post came out yesterday pretty aggressively. And in the headline and photo of Hillary, it says, "No wonder Bill's afraid. Hillary explodes with rage at Benghazi hearing." In the bottom right corner, there was a photo of a surprise Bill Clinton. Appearing in the box next to it says, "The lady has some temper." And the Post goes on to say, Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton came out breathing fire yesterday at a congressional hearing where polls as they call them, POLs, it's a tabloid word, ripped her handling the Benghazi debacle. Now here's the thing. I think Rand Paul, just in my opinion, you guys heard his comments,
yep,
right? About how he would, if he was
president, he would have fired her.
He would fire her. I mean, I think he's going to get a little hot water about that. You guys think that? I think that was in poor taste. It goes over the line even in politics, in my opinion. It was an obvious attempt to embarrass the Secretary of State.
Well, the reason I don't believe that it's going to cost him in the long run is because the national news media has let him have a pass on it. They talked about it, but they haven't harped on it.
Well, we haven't seen all the fallout from it yet.
Yeah,
it's early.
But it would have been all over CNN yesterday about how Rand Paul jumped all over and everything, and it wasn't. So, no. The liberal media jumps all over that kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay? CNN would have wore it like a badge of honor if they'd have thought it was that big a deal.
Well, I didn't know you were that keen on all the networks, Tom. That's good for you. I think the point is that when the comment was made by a certain presidential candidate that 47% of the people didn't matter, that resonated with a lot of people, and ultimately the fallout was very damaging to Mitt Romney.
The liberal news media jumped on that like it was a fire, and as rightly they should have. And can
we do one thing on this program? Can we do one thing on this program?
Hold on, let me finish.
No,
this.
I'm not going to let you finish.
Okay.
Because then we're not going to have this conversation if you're going to say every time you say the liberal media, what is Fox?
No, I'm fixing
It's
to
like
say
saying the right-wing media. You don't need to say the liberal media. Just say the media.
No, because there's a separation.
Yes, there's a separation.
There's a liberal media and there's a conservative media.
Yeah.
The liberal media jumped all over Mitt Romney with his 47%, as they should have. The conservative media, Fox and those guys, said it was much to do about nothing. When it wasn't much to do about nothing, he was alienating 47% of the population. That's all I'm saying, is one group, they do it all the time, both sets. They pick what their agenda is, and they harp on what makes their agenda look proper, whether it's the liberal media or the conservative media.
I detest labeling media.
But
what is this show, liberal or conservative?
This is neither.
Oh, well, thank you. There is one of those out there that's not liberal or conservative.
Never said it was this show.
So
but
I would
you
hope,
cannot deny the fact that there are liberal agendas and conservative
here's
agendas
what's wrong with
media.
Here's what's wrong with your story. Because you never actually worked in the media, okay? Let me just tell you, you're not going to find a bunch of people who work for CNN who take an oath to say, I'll always report only liberal stories. It's not going to happen. Journalists are more honest than that. You have people who write columns with a slant to them, which, of course, is what they do. That is not a reporter. That is a columnist. Commentators have opinions. Some of them are liberal, some of them are not. There are reporters out there who don't care either way, who actually report the story and factually as it is, and just because you work for one or the other doesn't mean you are this or that.
And you are naive to think that in this day and age that it's still the same way it was when you were in your heyday in the media.
No, I don't think anything's the same as that when I worked in media.
People in charge of networks now,
Tom,
set what is going to be reported on their channels. Let me educate you on one thing.
The St. Petersburg Times was one of the most liberal newspapers in the world. I worked for them for 5 years. Never one time did I ever hear of or know of or be involved in any conversation about taking a liberal viewpoint of anything. Never in 5 years did I hear about it. So when you say, well, this is liberal, you're confusing the editorial page's policy.
I'm not talking about print media. Never said print media. I'm talking about television media.
No, you didn't say that.
I said CNN and Fox.
You said
liberal media. I said CNN and Fox.
You said liberal media.
CNN, liberal media, CNN, and conservative media.
Well, that's the problem with the world today. It's too myopic. They want a quick 2 licks to say, well, they are communists, and they are this, and they are that. How about just taking a comment as it is, whatever it may be, and decide for yourself, without a political agenda, what it is about, and does it make sense? And does this doesn't have to be a doctrine. It's just common sense. The facts stack up one way or they stack up another. You base your opinion, hopefully, on facts. And as a result of that, not every journalist in the world who ever walked out there was liberal or conservative.
Well, if we want to talk about basing on facts, then assault rifles should be okay and handguns should be outlawed.
I'm not going to go there. Let's take a break. We'll be back after this time out on Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, I'm Lisa Midget with Kinetic Motion Fitness, Ocala's premier small group and personal training fitness studio. Did you know you can achieve all your fitness goals, whether that's losing weight, getting fit, or training for a personal best, all with no membership fees? Have you ever been embarrassed or intimidated at a big gym because you're not a Greek god or a size 0 supermodel? Have you ever felt like your gym would rather you not even show up? At KMF, we have a team approach that focuses on small classes and personal training, and you'll feel like family, not just another number. No more boring treadmills or endless reps. Our classes are fun, energetic, and get you the results you want. And I should know, with the help of our great trainers, I lost over 100 pounds in 8 jean sizes, and I did it using no heavy equipment and no magic pills, just fun and effective workouts. And yes, I did say fun. Come join us at KMF. Visit our website at kmfocala.com or like us on Facebook. Again, that was kmfocala.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA The Source.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to recording artist Sydney Rose. She's calling in from New York to tell us about her new CD, Rise, and she's going to give us some tips for tweens and teens so they can take their talent from the playroom to the stage.
Then Winging It with Brad Rosema and Josh Verdonk.
And a brand new show called Ocala Magazine Radio, hosted by John Sotomayor, and he'll be bringing the magazine to life when he interviews guests live on the radio that you've read about in Ocala Magazine.
Open for debate, where you get to choose the topic.
Victoria Wynn will be on the air with us. She's a speaker and an author, and she's going to tell us us about the Lies Project, how to dissect the lies that we tell ourselves.
Christina Villegas is an adjunct professor at California State University. She's going to be speaking about the new study that asks the question, have domestic violence programs delivered on their promises to women?
And then Dr. Leanna Wen will be with us from Harvard Medical School. She'll tell us about the book titled When Doctors Don't Listen, How to Avoid Misdiagnosis and Unnecessary Tests. All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM. Hey, Larry, nice haircut.
Oh, thanks, Robin. Looks like you had something different done, too.
Yes, I did. Thanks for noticing. I went to Lupe at Merle Norman on the Boulevard for a fresh cut, some summer highlights, and a facial.
No kidding. That's who I go to. I didn't know she did all that.
She does coloring, waxing, styling, updos, microderms, and she does it all for prices that won't break the bank.
Sounds like you can take the whole family there.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Hi, this is Lupe. Let me be your personal stylist. To set up your appointment, call me today, 426-1229.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
This is Tom Schmitz live in WOCA studios with this news update brought to you by Kinetic Motion Fitness. The primary advocates for local businesses on Wednesdays unveiled a 5-point program to create thousands of new jobs and pump hundreds of millions of dollars in new investment into the community. It is first mass gathering of business leaders since Ocala's two biggest groups merged. The Ocala-Marion County Chamber and the Economic Partnership, or CEP, offered a plan to create 3,500 new jobs and produce $225 million in new capital improvements over the next 5 years. CEP President and CEO Kevin Shealy told hundreds of business, civic, and government leaders that reaching those marks would require them to invest more out of their own pockets into the organization's mission. This news break was brought to you by Kinetic Motion Fitness, where the focus is on fun. Find them at kmfocala.com.
Welcome back. Coming up shortly, we'll have Stan McClay. He's on his way in, talking about Silver Springs. One of the things that I'm going to ask him about it, Hugh called in and asked if he would, I'm sure Stan probably doesn't know the answer to this, but we can ask him anyway, was the $4 million that Palace Entertainment is going to pay, that's going to go back into cleaning up the springs, was that negotiable? And as I said this to Hugh, in my opinion, I'd rather take the $4 million and go, because every day that goes by without changing things out there means the springs deteriorates even more. The other thing is that I didn't realize the cabinet had so much power. And I didn't realize who all was in the cabinet. You guys, you probably like me, you couldn't name one person on the cabinet. I couldn't. But the Attorney General is Pam Bondi. I heard her name. CFO is Jeff Atwater, and Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam are some of the ones on the cabinet. I guess I'm not sure if that's all of them or not. Anyway, Commissioner McLean did, in fact, address the panel in which the Star Banner reported this morning. Bill Thompson wrote the story, and he told them that Silver Springs has always been a big part of the identity of Marion County. And he mentioned that it's created an iconic brand that is still recognized. And he's right about that. Certainly the brand is built. And Silver Springs, I dare say if you've ever talked to anybody who's been to Ocala, they know Silver Springs. And a lot of them have stories about Silver Springs, about when they were kids, how they went swimming there, how they went to the glass bottom boat, the jungle cruise, raw salad, all those things. And even people as late as the 80s remember that they could go in there and do certain things that eventually they couldn't do. So, like I said, yesterday was highly significant. The news out of Tallahassee that the governor's cabinet has approved the plan, and now we go forward. And I want to say, I've said it on this air before, I'll repeat it again, not just because he's here. then I truly believe that the vision of Stan McLean and others, but particularly Stan, which is where I heard this from the first time when he spoke to a local civic club, the Kiwanis Club. I believe that was behind the driving force behind getting this done. It makes me feel good to know that the system worked, that we actually asked people to respond. They had 2 DEP meetings. I know that Stan's been getting an earful on this for several years, and that now we have reached this point where Silver Springs is going to be a state park. That's part 1, and then part 2 we'll find out. Commissioner McLean, congratulations, and good to have you aboard.
Thank you, buddy. It's good to be here. It wasn't a good day yesterday for Marion County. The horse park was there too. I don't know if you touched on that or not, but anyway,
about the 50 year, about the lease being renewed.
Yeah, and so it was pretty neat there for a few minutes. The Commissioner of Agriculture, actually, when he was talking about the horse park, he said that Florida was at the epicenter of the horse world or whatever, and then CFO Atwater said to him, he says, are we the epicenter of the horse? Are we the horse capital of the world? And Commissioner Putnam said to the CFO, Commissioner Putnam says, well, that's what we tell Kentucky. So anyway, so for a few minutes, and then when I got up, I just said, it's not necessarily Marion County Day here at the state capitol. I said, but we're going to be at the epicenter of Florida for a few minutes anyway. And so then we, I just kind of went into my talking points that I had. We actually had gone up last week and met with the cabinet aides, and they actually have a little pre-meeting. And so we'd gone up and actually spent about 30 minutes with each one of the cabinet aides and had some good discussions with them and told them why we thought it was important to kind of move forward with this, this first step. So, we primed the pump a little bit there, and obviously I've been working on it for a period of time. But we were, I think the governor and cabinet, a little bit of hesitation possibly, maybe leading up to it, but I think after we had some discussions and whatnot, I think everybody's, pretty happy with it. The thing that was exciting to me was in the press release from DEP yesterday, the Secretary Vineyard of the DEP said, going forward, what they want to do is involve the community in recreation opportunity decisions and continue our efforts of improving water quality at Silver Springs. And so, that part for me is what we want to be involved in is, what happens once we get moving forward. Palace is going to put they're leaving $4 million. They already had $280,000 in a fund, and so a lot of cleanup will get taken care of and some of those things. So it's pretty exciting.
It is. In a way, I want to go forward. Somebody's like saying, yeah, I know Christmas is a great dish, but I want to have it next year too. and you tend to forget about, you of all people would know the long and arduous effort that took place for this to happen. Mm-hmm. Take me back, and I want to get a few particulars on the whole thing, but Take me back to when you first started thinking of, you personally, started connecting on this idea of Silver Springs, and how did it pop into your mind? I still go back to that day. I saw you stand up with that graphic behind you of the 450,000 acres behind you and think, wow, look at all this green space. Take me back to what those seeds were planted on that for you.
I always hate to go back too far, but anyway, we were having this big discussion in the community about economic development. How do we get our citizens working? I think at that time when I first started thinking about it, unemployment was at 14%. And I'm thinking, we're talking about doing the 489 the 489 project. Our portion of that, the county's portion, was going to be about $13.5 million to build a road in there and all that. And so I'm all this is kind of rolling around, and whatever's up here in my head is rolling around in there. And I kind of said, and I was trying to take an assessment of what assets do we have in Marion County that are being underutilized. And we just finished, Baseline was being finished up at the time, and I said, man, we got a good road. We got a good road in 40 going out, east of town, and then we're getting Baseline, and just Silver Springs kind of popped in my head, and then the whole ecotourism thing was being talked about in other communities and kind of just different places, and then I kind of started looking at the connectivity that could happen between all the properties, between the state-owned property and then the federally owned property, and quite frankly, there's like 5 different people that manage all these properties, and
That don't talk to each other.
Yeah, and understanding how government works at different levels. Doesn't work that way in Marion County, but understanding how those things take place. That's why I don't think these guys ever even have a conversation about connecting some of this stuff together. And so that was really the impetus for it. Looking at it from an economic standpoint, I knew that there was one master concessionaire at that time, which was Palace. Quite frankly, as I've had time to kind of study this thing a little bit, Palace was a little bit set up for failure, kind of, because it was almost like they were putting, before they started to have it, they were going to put 10 or 15 years of degradation on Palace and say, hey, you guys need to fix this, and well, I don't know if it's necessarily all Palace's responsibility to fix it. They were doing, but again, one person, and I said, what would be the opportunities for one entrepreneur? What types of opportunities would exist? And then I started thinking, well, it's kind of, you have to start down the river and canoe up to the spring or paddle up to the spring. I said, gosh, that doesn't. When I tell people that, I'm out in the, and I'll say something like, or that you can't swim there or whatever it is, people kind of scratch their heads and go, what? And so, but that was really what started it. And we had a good road network. It's right on the, one of the things too about Silver Springs, it's an iconic brand. I say this a lot of times. On I-75, there's a big sign up at Highway 4 that says Silver Springs. That's all it says, Silver Springs. So obviously people know what that means when you go by that. In my opinion, most people must automatically say, oh yeah, I know Silver Springs. And
that's just in Maryland at Silver Spring.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, so there's, it's an iconic brand and I had the fortune to speak to Mr. Bill Ray before he passed away, and he just told me the things that they had done to market
Bill Blue,
yeah, and to market Silver Springs in the old days, and that has still carried on even into the time that we're in now.
Pretty good plan, by the way.
It was a great plan. I was amazed at a lot of things that they did, but it was a very innovative, and then those kinds of things, and so that's created an iconic brand in Silver Springs. But that was really where it kind of in my mind started, and then when I looked at that interconnectivity part, and I said, golly. Silver Springs itself could be that would be the starting point. In other words, that's where everybody would come to go do, horseback riding, mountain biking, trail riding, whatever it might be,
kayaking,
walking, canoe, kayak, the whole thing. And so, and then directly connected to Silver Springs, there's a 5,000-acre piece of tract of land that is Silver River State Park.
Just sort of sits there, doesn't it?
It
sort of
just kind of sitting there. They've got some cabins that my understanding is you have to rent them a year in advance to try to.
Dr. Ford is there almost every month.
Absolutely, and so, so I just said, what's the possibility? What's the possibility? I don't know if it works. I'm not sure, but gosh, we should at least talk about it. And so I pitched it out there and started talking about it, and rightfully so, there were some detractors, and I think that helped it helps your thought process, and you back up a little bit and say, well, yeah, we need to think about that. And one of the big issues was the environmental liability that's there, and I think that where we're at today, certainly $4 million will do a lot to clean up the property itself.
Would there have been more money on the table, do you think, if they'd have pushed it harder or not?
Unfortunately, I wasn't involved in those negotiations. When we originally kind of talked about it, we actually had backed into a number that was fairly close to that, just looking at the length of the contract, how much it would actually cost them over a period of time, and then kind of back into it. I might would have tried to squeeze a little more out of them, but I think it's a pretty fair deal. Again, looking at I don't know if it's all on the private sector. I don't know if it's all on this one partner, or this one person. So if you kind of try to think about it from a little bit of fairness aspect, they did sign a contract.
Right.
They would have been responsible for a long period of time. So I think it's a fairly good number. I think it'll take care of a lot of the immediate issues that exist on the property.
Taking care of the parking lot has to be at wild waters is going to be turned. The asphalt's going to be pulled up, I think, and that's part of the plan because the drainage is causing the nitrates and all the things they're having there. You know this better than I'm not telling you something you don't know, but I'm explaining to the listeners who don't know.
Yep.
And so there are some tearing down some of the structures, most of the structures, getting rid of all the species that are not indigenous to us here, the animals, et cetera, so on. The questions, and we'll take a break and come back and answer. The questions I want to know are, number one, at what point did you think maybe this wasn't going to fly? And secondly, I want to see if I've got the timetable right about what happens is when the county stepped forward and backed up because the votes just weren't there to get it done.
Right.
And in the process, another group or two comes into play because one group is really involved around Adena Springs and water. Another group was a group of Silver Springs people who want to see it return to what it was in terms of the commercial aspect of it. And all these groups began to form. And meanwhile, then everything kind of went underground for a while until Herschel Vineyard came down for the first meeting. And then the subsequent hearings, which people came out and express themselves, and apparently that impressed somebody because then things began to happen. And if that's the case, I said, hoorah, the system actually worked. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Commissioner Stan McLean will address that. We'll talk a little about the dreams that still remain out of Silver Springs and things. What could it be? Right here on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
This is James Snyder inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy, right here on WOCA 1370.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Ah, man, that's great.
Told you it was the best.
I don't know why I haven't tried it sooner.
Yeah, good old Adams Water.
You sound like a walking commercial.
Now, if you had an Adams water conditioning system in your home, you'd be saying great things about them, too.
After tasting how pure the water is at your house, I'm definitely having one installed in my home.
Call 369-3416. That's 369-3416. Call 369-3416 for your free water test from Adams. Quality you can feel, a difference you can taste.
At prices you can afford.
Good credits, bad credits.
It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're ocalaforsale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hey, did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here. So join me, Gary McNamara,
and me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA, 1370 AM and 96.7 FM, The Source.
In Clark, we trust.
Hi, this is Clark Howard. I'm so excited to be on in Ocala, where I visit twice a year because I have relatives in Ocala, and it's great that my show is on every evening at 6 p.m. right here on WOCA, The Source.
Welcome back. Stan McLean's our guest. Stan's coming back from a victorious trip, I'll say, to Tallahassee. All good news about Silver Springs. We have so many questions. I'm going to try to cram them in the next 20 minutes because we're running out of time and you got things to do. But getting back to our point about the timeline of what happened, walk with me through this and help me understand the moment you started with the vision and then you start talking to people. And the next thing has to happen is at some point, you have to address this. You were then, weren't you the chairman of the county commission?
I think I was.
Yeah.
I think I was.
Yeah,
yes,
you
sir.
were.
Yeah.
And so you got an idea. You're trying to sell it. You go out to these civic clubs. You talk to people. You're hearing things, and then then you realize, politically speaking, you're astute enough to know this, that if you went to the mat with this at the county on the county commission, it wouldn't pass, right? For various reasons. Yeah. One person had to abstain for recuse themselves, and you didn't have the votes to do it. Right. So what happened at that point?
Well, I mean, I think actually, I didn't actually go to the community with the vision until I had actually had several discussions with DEP about was this even something that they would even consider, and then we had to deal with Palace, who was a private sector person, so we had to have these negotiations
beforehand
where we couldn't say, you couldn't really talk about anything in public, and then I actually had to get them to agree to even let us go public. And then at that point, even the deal that we had negotiated at that point, I wasn't comfortable with that deal. It was the deal that was on the table, so to speak. But anyway, so I took that, I went to the commission first, I presented it to the commission. And I want to say this, it's why we have 5 commissioners, because in a multitude of counselors, there's wisdom, and so sometimes one of us will get out ahead or the others or whatever, and some rein back in a little bit. And so I don't want to be critical of anyone. I think that, again, looking back, I've learned some lessons, and some things that I didn't consider originally, and they've come to surface now. And so we've been able to, kind of work our way through some of those things. But I realized, at that meeting, I said, well, the commission's not comfortable with it, and I certainly appreciate all them and that kind of thing. And so I said, I just got to keep working on it, just keep, and then at some point, most of my, then we kind of started talking. The biggest issue, and one of the catalysts, again, maybe I should go back to this. One of the catalysts as well, buddy, was we had heard that Palace originally was leasing this for $1.2 million. Then they went to the state and said, can we have it for $600,000? And the state gave the concession and said, but you still have to make some improvements.
A year.
Yeah, and then a year, yes, sir. And then we heard that Palace was back asking if they could lease it for $1 a year. And that's really, and I said, wait a minute. Yeah. And you're looking at it and it's like, look, no improvements are being made. And again, looking back on it, Palace maybe was being required to do things that weren't necessarily their fault, and so that's what I'm saying. You learn things as you the longer you take, I guess. But so I saw some of that, but rightfully so. I think the commission slowed me down a little bit, and at that point, then I did ask the commission, for permission to go out, talk to the community, at least let it play around a little bit. And
I've been screaming at you for a year and a half to get you to stand.
Well, and quite frankly, I've been actually working on it that whole time.
I understand. But you can't blame me for screaming.
No, sir, no, absolutely. And so it's things that you continue to work on, and Senator Lynn was a huge catalyst in even getting the discussion started, and then our Senator Hayes, Senator Charlie Dean. Now Senator Huckel, and then our legislative, Representative Stone now, Representative Stone, Representative Baxley, our state representative delegation O'Toole, and then now Clovis Watson as well. But
all on the same page.
All on the same page. Understand what we're trying to do. Understand that have said Stan, we got to slow down. Let's take this one piece at a time. Mm-hmm. This is what we need to do. Then we'll keep moving forward. And I think for me at the end of the day, and I've said this I think all along, if you look at the one park I mentioned a little bit ago, there's I guess that was you and I talking off air, but there's several state parks that actually turn a profit, so to speak. And the one in particular that I'm thinking of, they turned about a $1.8 million profit last year. They had 900,000 visitors. Well, what does that do to that community?
Really?
See that yeah. That
put a dollar value on every one of those visitors.
You bet. And so
hard to figure out. We're talking millions here.
And that's what it's about, trying to open the park up to get more visitors to come in.
Right.
And
not closing it down in the middle of the day because they don't really want to go. They got a little thunderstorm or something. Which is what we've been having.
And I think you have to, unfortunately, I think the world we live in today, a lot of people, want to run and go and do different things and that kind of thing. And so I think, if you can offer some of those types of venues around Silver Springs, that's what's going to drive people to come back. And, the spring will always be there and people will want to see it and those kinds of things. But it's about getting those folks to come visit and stay in Marion County 2 or 3 days.
Right. We do a couple quick hitters.
Yes.
So we can get this in.
You bet.
Were you surprised how fast this happened?
It wasn't that fast.
But once the meetings took place, I thought we were looking at months.
Once Secretary Vineyard got on board and had a chance to, it actually moved very rapidly. He, took the bull by the horn, so to speak, and said, hey, you know what? First thing we have to do is let's have a discussion with Powell to get this done. Right. So that happened.
I know you're a humble person. You don't like to take credit, but I'll give you credit. Let's say who else, some names of, and I'm not trying to identify, leave somebody out. Mm-hmm. But if I'd say, give me 3 or 4 names of people you think really helped knock it out of the park here, and they really helped us push this thing through, who would it be?
It would be the state legislature, actually. Really? Some legislative members, absolutely.
And that would be Baxley,
Senator Dean.
Senator Charlie Dean, we had on this program, by the way, and he's a big proponent of this.
Senator Dean, and he's been a big proponent of trying to, clean up and do some of those things. Mm-hmm. I know that he had several discussions with Governor Scott. Obviously, a lot of things start with the governor.
He told me he wanted Governor Scott to take off his shoes and roll up his pants leg and wait in Silver Springs.
And he still says that.
And he says he wants to get this done while he's still alive because he's 73 years old.
Exactly.
So he wants to go swimming in Silver Springs.
Exactly. Senator Hayes was a big help. He and Secretary Vineyard have a good relationship with one another. He was a big help. There were a lot of folks in the community. The city of a lot of the city councilmen have been on board.
We had a lot of good folks. I just wanted 2 or 3 names of people. I know there are lots of folks. What was good about everybody working together, city, county. Which, by the way, I wish that would be the model for other things that go on in this community, but that's not a story.
We work at it.
We haven't got time for that. Let's talk about what it could be. Mm-hmm. Now, I know you're working off a playbook with blank sheets here, mm-hmm. and the question becomes, and we're going to take a break, come back and answer, is what's next? What is your idea of what the model should be for concessionaires? Will there be local involvement in this Silver Springs project? We'll come back. We'll ask Commissioner Stan McLean, to talk about that regarding Silver Springs right here on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. WOCA, the source.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price to fixed rate allowance. Offers don't combine.
I'm a car dealer who is feeling blue. I have too many cars and don't know what to do. If you're willing to put down $1 or $2, my misfortune can be a bonus for you.
Hello, this is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales, and I'm going loony. Last month I took in too many trades, and now I've got cars in spades. Plus, additional cars are arriving daily. I have no idea where to put them, and I need your help. That means this week, 27 cars must go.
So if you've got the desire to drive a nicer, newer car in $2, you're in luck. It's my New Year, Blue Year Drive for 2 here sale.
Bad credit? Don't sweat it.
Our For the People credit approval process can help you drive away today, even if it takes some extra rhyming and reasoning with the banks to get it done. Our lot is full, and that's no bull. $2 down is all you'll pay to drive a nicer, newer car today.
I'm Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales, and I'm a dealer for the people. See us in Ocala or Bellevue.
Or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Hi, this is Brad from Ocala Aviation. How would you like to have someone give you $4,000? Call me.
Brad, can't end the commercial that way.
Why not?
Because you have to tell them why you're giving away $4,000.
No, I don't. It's $4,000.
Yeah, I know, but for what?
Oh, I see. You mean like tell them it's for a flight scholarship that gives young people a chance to fulfill their dreams of becoming a pilot?
Yeah, something like that.
Nah, just give them the phone number. It's $4,000.
All right. What's the phone number?
352-861-7484.
Okay, that works.
Whatever you do this week, the one thing you must see is the absolutely gorgeous Camellia Show Spectacular in all its glory at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. Come see hundreds of camellias, a myriad of color, more than 5 acres bursting in bloom. This week, when you make a $30 camellia purchase, you get free your choice of a 1-gallon Kanjira or Leslie Ann Camellia. Absolutely free. Friends, don't miss it. The Camellia Show Spectacular at Bob Wine's, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, just a mile east of Lake Weir Avenue.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Howdy. I want to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great deal and a great meal. Right now, Dairy Queen is offering a hot, juicy quarter-pound cheeseburger meal, including the quarter pounder with cheese, a fry, and a medium drink for only $4.99. And you can add a sundae for only $1. So if you love real grill-cooked burgers cooked fresh to order, come get a great meal for only $4.99 at Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
Hey, welcome back. Final few minutes with Stan McLean, County Commissioner. Gets to take I don't know if it's a full victory lap, but partial victory lap after the good news. Silver Springs is going to become a state park. To maximize this few minutes we have, I'm going to shut up and let you tell us about the local involvement, concessionaires, and any other visions you may have of the types of venues that might be there in this ecotourism center they're going to have.
Okay. Well, real quick, in the next 30 days, the state and palace are going to get together, create a work plan, decide what they're going to take care of, inside the park. So that has to happen in the next 30 days. That was part of the deal for the governor and cabinet. I think what's next is we're going to have to be a little bit patient. They've got until 2014 to present their entire management plan. We've been invited to the table to, have discussions with that.
Marion County.
Marion County, yes.
Okay.
We've been invited to the table to have discussions as they develop that plan. And again, buddy, it goes back to this. They had one concessionary. I want to see 30 concessionaires, 30 people doing 30 different things. That's what's going to have that's going to give us the best chance to bring lots of folks into the area. And you want them, and again, one of the things I've always said, like the concerts, for example. If you have a concert on Saturday and you can go canoe up the river on Sunday, on a 2 to 3 hour trip, a lot of people might say, hey, let's go to the concert on Saturday. We'll spend the night in Ocala, and then we'll canoe up the river, canoeing, horseback riding, whatever it might be. The sky's the limit, in my opinion, as far as that. Whatever an entrepreneur can think of, I think that's what we want to try to promote. Is here's a list of guys that want to do some different things. They want to use this as their headquarters to get into that bigger 400,000 or 500,000 acre land mass that's available to recreate on, and I think that's really what we want to do. There's some private sector guys that are working on some stuff. We're going to present that plan. We've already talked about it a little bit.
You mean the county commission? Or the delegation? And
well, we'll probably present it to the DEP. We've had a little bit of discussion about it already. Just some ways, some unique ways to help fund this whole thing, so it's not on the back of the taxpayer. That's been one of the things that's been my position from the day one. Is I don't want this to be on the back of the taxpayer. So let's figure out how to.
Private capital should be available.
Absolutely, and but you have to allow them the opportunity. You have to allow entrepreneurs, the opportunity to get in there and do those kinds of things, put a business plan together, go out and make money for themselves, and then that private capital will be there.
This is going to be a dogfight, because I know there are a lot of people going to want to get into Silver Springs. They all have to be licensed, obviously, on this new plan of some sort.
Sure.
And there's going to be, I don't know who's going to decide that. Obviously, the state, maybe the county, I don't know, but that's going to be a dogfight, because they're going to have 8 restaurants that want to be out there, and that's a good thing in many ways. But how that selection process goes, that's where the political side of this could get ugly if we're not careful.
Well, and I think you just have to try to make it as transparent a process as possible.
Agreed.
And let everybody have an opportunity to do what they want to do. It's a fresh piece of property at this point. It's new. It's old, but it's being revitalized, I guess, if you want to use that term. And it's it's like any other. If we were revitalizing something downtown Ocala, this is the same process. It's no different. It's just that the state owns this piece of property. I've had people, this or that. Well, I'm telling you right now, the state's not going to sell the piece of property, so we might as well figure out how to make it work. Let entrepreneurs go in there and do what they do best, and that's create jobs.
Well, I won't say that I have a gun to your head, because that has a violent connotation. But if I could put truth serum in you right now and said, as best as you could, without an official projection, what would you, if you could put a number of any kind on this X, in terms of how much it could generate a year and how many jobs, just take a shot.
There's 500, 600 jobs. I mean, there's already a couple hundred. So, just doing what little bit they're doing there now. So, 500, 600. We've had projections made before. And again, it all depends on how many entrepreneurs can get involved.
Well, this is also, they're outside the Springs, in the city of Silver Springs, other businesses which will pop up because of it. So it could be more than that. And we're talking multiple millions of dollars in our economy, no question about it. Which comes back to, how does that money describe? We got 15 seconds. Does that go to the state? Would it go to the, what do we do?
No. That's going to be private sector money.
Private sector money?
You bet. They're going to.
They pay a fee for it, which will go to the state and the county, right?
Yep.
Something along those lines.
Yep.
Hey, Stan, I'm excited about this. It's just
bud.
terrific. Once again, great job on getting it done, and for you and the whole gang, and the folks in Tallahassee, and bringing home the bacon. I hate to use that word because it smacks of pork, but I mean, you know what I mean? It's the old Southern expression.
You bet.
Good job on that. Looking forward to talking to you more in the future.
Yes, sir.
And finding out, it's nice to see, look up and see your vision, and then one day begin to see that take place and actually become a reality, isn't it?
Yes. Absolutely.
That's you.
Absolutely.
All right, Stan McLean,
Thank you.
County Commissioner for Marion County. We will come to the end of the hour 2, and we will come up with sports next hour. Buddy Sports Page, stay tuned. We'll talk more about Gators' big win last night in basketball. JJ can't wait to talk about his beloved Miami Hurricanes, who had a huge upset last night. And we will have our friend Michael W. Compton, who is the most literate sports guy talking about horse racing I know of. He'll tell us about, even the Kentucky Derby odds. Coming up next right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, I'm Lisa Midget with Kinetic Motion Fitness, Ocala's premier small group and personal training fitness studio. Did you know you can achieve all your fitness goals, whether that's losing weight, getting fit, or training for a personal best, all with no membership fees? Have you ever been embarrassed or intimidated at a big gym because you're not a Greek god or a size 0 supermodel? Have you ever felt like your gym would rather you not even show up? At KMF, we have a team approach that focuses on small classes and personal training, and you'll feel like family, not just another number. No more boring treadmills or endless reps. Our classes are fun, energetic, and get you the results you want. And I should know, with the help of our great trainers, I lost over 100 pounds in 8 jean sizes, and I did it using no heavy equipment and no magic pills, just fun and effective workouts. And yes, I did say fun. Come join us at KMF. Visit our website at kmfocala.com or like us on Facebook. Again, that was kmfocala.com.
Hi, I'm Pat Murray, General Manager of the Country Club of Ocala, inviting you to pay me a visit at the finest country club in North Central Florida. Come see why our members and friends embrace the Country Club of Ocala as a beautiful, serene place for those with active lifestyles. We have it all, from our Blue Ribbon Golf Course to our superb facilities. When you want to enjoy golf, tennis, swimming, fitness, or dine on cuisine that is second to none in North Central Florida, the Country Club of Ocala is where you'll want to be. So call me, Pat Murray, at 237-6644.
Relations got you down. Are you at your wit's end? Does the opposite sex just confuse you? Then I've got the solution for you, Dr. Buddy.
Well, let me just tell you what you slugs are doing wrong. Remember, dummy, it's about the chase and the romantic interludes, okay? Now, here's the difference. Instead of dinner and a movie, which seems obsolete these days, they have this random phone text, Facebook post, instant message, and quote-unquote non-dates. Traditional courtship, which is still what women want, guys. Picking up a telephone, asking someone on a date, maybe even going as far to pick them up in your car, requires courage, strategic planning, and a considerable investment in ego.
So now you know where to tune in to get all your relationship advice. It's the Dr. Buddy Show every Monday on the Voice of Ocala. You can succeed only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source. Digital Graphics Reborn. Phoenix Promotional Solutions. When you need vehicle wraps, banners, t-shirts, window graphics, you need to call Phoenix Promotional Solutions at 368-2404. 368-2404. When you need building signs, vehicle wraps, yard signs, realty signs, business cards, you need to call 368-2404. 368-2404. Phoenix Promotional Solutions. Digital Graphics Reborn.
Why is everyone so obsessed with virtual reality and high definition? My neighbor came over yesterday to show me the photographs he took of the pansies and dianthus that I got from Kenny's Place Nursery. He had this electronic pad, and with the flip of his finger, he showed me these beautiful shots he took in my garden. And then he said, you can almost smell them. That's when I used my finger and motioned him to the garden, and then pointing with my cursor, also known as my finger, I pointed toward the real flowers from Kenny's Place Nursery, and I said, I can smell them. Instead of virtual reality, I enjoy real reality. But it is more than the beauty of the pansies and dianthus and more than their fragrance. It's the way they move in the breeze. It's the butterflies and bees that are attracted to them. You know, the plants I get from Kenny's Place Nursery from my garden in the real world provide me with an outdoor sanctuary to escape from that virtual world. Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. Kenny's Place Nursery, where the plants, the people, and the mission are all beautiful.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Or if you've ever taken a powerful prescription painkiller like Vicodin, you know the warning label says they can become habit-forming. Now the FDA says it's time to take stronger steps to preventive use, like limiting the number of scripts doctors can write at a time for one person and ordering pharmacists to lock them up. The military is opening up thousands of combat jobs to women, lifting a ban which has been in place for years. Supporters say the change is long overdue. Women have unofficially been doing these jobs for years. Opponents say the move puts political correctness ahead of military preparedness. You know it's cold when they close ski resorts down in New Hampshire. Well, a number of them near Mount Washington did today with wind chills well below zero. You can feel better about eating that fillet of fish. McDonald's hooked a label from a group which certifies sustainable fishing practices. It's the first national chain to get the blue eco label from the Marine Stewardship Council. This is ABC News.
We move forward, so does the rest of the economy. CSX trains are the most cost-efficient way to move goods to market. CSX, how tomorrow moves.
I'm in the car next to you on the highway. I sit in front of you on the bus. I'm one out of every 6 Americans, and I'm struggling with hunger. This isn't an uncontrollable epidemic. There's enough food in this country to feed every hungry person. Please, visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank. Every dollar you donate helps provide 7 meals for those around you, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
How much time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Okay. Enough kidding around.
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, ho, ho.
And now it's time for the Buddy Martin Sports Page.
He actually had me stay here last night in his gym.
It's like I don't fit in. It's like I don't belong here. Let's go talk to a couple of guys that never gamble.
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you on the phone house at the same time. He didn't think we could do it.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
And now, here's Buddy.
All right, welcome to Hour 3 of Voice of Ocala. This is Buddy Sports Page. Lots of news to talk about today. Basketball. Big win by the Gators last night after actually it wouldn't have been big except they were trailing so badly early on. But a bigger win by JJ's Miami Hurricanes, completely destroying the #1 Duke Blue Devils. And to make matters worse, Tom, of course, hates anything that's not North Carolina. 90-63, and to make matters worse, apparently Warren Sapp had a role in it. There you go. I'll let JJ tell you about that. So let's tell you about that. I'll also tell you this hour, apparently Coach John Harbaugh pranked his own parents. Tell you how he did that. We'll talk to Michael Compton coming up here at 5:20, and we'll have more information about local Eclipse Award winners and some of the odds on the Kentucky Derby. Yes, already they're out there. And if we have time today, I'll tell you about one person's list of the 10 worst Super Bowl blunders. Now, you guys be thinking of one. I don't like this guy's list much, but I'll say what I recall is the worst. You may have one, too. And finally, wrap up today by talking to Franz Beard about the Gator basketball team, which now has ranked, I think they were ranked 8th last time we checked, weren't they? And
yes.
Probably destined to start going up the ladder a little bit here. Billy Donovan's team proving they got the stuff on the road again after being down early, able to overcome it and winning by, I think, 20 points, was it, over Georgia? JJ, what's the headlines today?
All right, well, the Gators won last night. They started out slow against Georgia, but they ended up winning 64-47 against the Bulldogs. Wilbekin had 17 points. And in bigger basketball news in the state, buddy, Miami, like you said, beat the brakes off Duke. #1 ranked Duke, 90-63. And at the end of the game, they were up by almost 30. And like you said, Warren Sapp told the players to slap the floor when they're on defense, kind of rub it in Duke's face.
That's what Duke does, of course. Duke does that.
And in a lot of Miami news today, James Coley joins the Hurricane staff as an offensive coordinator after Jed Fish left for the NFL.
Jimbo Fisher's whole staff live in Tallahassee.
Right. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make to the offense because everybody knows Jimbo calls all the plays. He's lost, I think, 4 or 5.
Well, Damian Craig, James Coley now, Eddie Grand, Mark Stoops, Greg Hudson, and DJ Yellow. That would be 6, according to my count.
Wow. That's
It's
a
a
whole
lot.
On the
coaching
2012 staff, by the way.
That's a whole coaching staff.
Well, now let's in
Season
fairness,
ended less than a month ago.
In fairness, let's point out that Mark Stoops got a head coaching job.
Oh, they all pretty much got
they did,
bigger and better jobs.
I don't know that Miami's a better job.
Offensive
He
coordinator.
calls the
Tom.
he's
He's offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he wanted to call the plays,
Right.
and he wasn't giving that up. And in baseball news, the Atlanta Braves traded Martin Prado, Randall Delgado, and some prospects for Justin Upton and third baseman Chris Johnson. So now the Braves have both Uptons in the outfield, buddy.
Just for you guys, I looked this up today. 66 days to opening day in baseball.
Yes, it is.
Spring training is right around the corner, buddy.
There you go. All right, let's talk for a second about let's get a basketball team. We'll talk with France about it. You know, France told us last time we talked to him that statistically, if you measured the offense and the defense of this team, they were equally as good. I think they are ranked 3rd in the country in points allowed, and they're number 1 in the SEC in most points per possession, over a point per possession. The balance of this team is really, really impressive. Now, the sustainability is what it's going to be about. Injuries, which, believe it or not, Florida's had a lot of. Again, this team has a lot of promise, but you can stub your toe very easily. Even though the SEC is down this year, it's not hard to fall asleep at the wheel someplace like in Mississippi or Alabama or someplace. And
Mississippi's actually 4-0 so far this year.
But I don't think anybody can come close to Florida at this point.
No.
Maybe they might get better, but right now Florida's far ahead above them.
Kentucky's 3-2.
I read a story earlier today that when you take into wins, losses, power rankings, how much they're beating their opponents by and everything, there's a poll out there that takes all that into effect. Florida Gators are ranked number 1 in that poll.
And what they got to be careful of is getting too full of themselves, because that could happen in a heartbeat. The next thing you know, I think last night, I've forgotten the announcer's name on does this, the color guy. It said, you read your clippings, and next thing you know, you believe them, and next thing you know, you're getting beat by Georgia, which they were.
It was 27-24 at half. They were losing.
Yeah, they were also they never led until after the half, and on top of that, they were down like 11-2, I believe. So
they made me look like the smartest guy in college basketball last night when a friend of mine said, "Spread's 13.5. Should I take Florida or Georgia?" I said, "Florida will win by 20."
How were you feeling about the first half?
About halftime, I was like, "Oh, I hope he didn't listen to me and go do anything with that."
They barely covered.
But by the end, they were 13.5. What they win by?
17.
Right.
So it's crazy. All right, so let's also want to talk about the Harbaughs getting pranked. Go ahead.
Can I tell you a great story, though? I don't know if you saw this last night, JJ, on Sports Center's Top 10. These stories, Top 10 Sports Center usually doesn't make it, buddy, but this is the kind of story that you'll like. This is why sports is by far, to me, the most interesting thing in a news cycle. Have you heard of Owen Grosser?
No.
He's a junior high student with Down syndrome.
Oh, that's the kid that scored all the points, right?
It was last night, yeah.
Well, I thought he scored it. Did he score it last night?
He made Sports Center's Top 10 last night.
But you're thinking of he didn't have Down syndrome.
No, the kid.
You're talking about the kid that
was autistic.
Autistic.
Yeah. Different kid.
This kid has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
He's a junior high school student.
Yeah, I saw him on TV today. Go ahead.
He was playing basketball in Detroit for his. I had the name. Oh, Van Hoosen Junior High School. He was playing at season's finale Wednesday. He gets in the game with 2 seconds to go. Receives a pass beyond the arc, sinks a three-pointer. Then he sinks another three-pointer. He finished with 6 points in 2 minutes of playing time, and ended up, there was a Twitter campaign. This tells you how powerful Twitter is. There was a Twitter campaign that the students started called Get Owen on Sports Center, which trended as one of the number one Twitter's trendings as the highlights of the game spread on the internet. And lo and behold, he did make Sports Center's Top 10 last night.
after getting 6 points in a junior high school game.
That's pretty rad.
Good for Owen.
Yeah,
That's why sports are fun.
Yeah, very cool. Speaking of fun, you were there last night. Central Florida,
completely
on a roll. 21st win?
They're 21-2 now.
Yeah, and they rolled over Daytona State, and you were there last night.
And I was talking to the AD at CF, Bob
Zelensky,
and he was talking about how, they lost 2 games. One, they've already avenged to Gulf Coast. They lost to them. And the second one was a team that they didn't even know they were going to play until about an hour before they were supposed to play them.
Yeah.
Remember, because they were up in New York.
They changed up on them.
And they only lost by 2.
And they were the home team.
Right, and they only lost by 2.
Yeah.
So this team is really – I mean, I was tweeting last night during the whole game. They were up 20 points, 30 points. They got up at one time up 35 points. They completely demoralized the Daytona team, Daytona State, where Daytona State didn't even – it was like Daytona State was like, let's just walk the ball up the court and hope that clock keeps running. Mm-hmm. And it's suffocating. What Tim Ryan has his team do is after every made basket, it's a full court press. They're on it. And then they press, get the rebound, run it out as fast as they can, work it in low. If they can't get a shot, kick it back out, take a three-pointer, press. Last night I watched them take, 15 shots with at least 15 seconds still on the shot clock.
Yeah,
because they were just
tiring to watch.
Oh, it was exhausting to watch. I didn't want to be a part of it. It was literally exhausting. And you would think Tim Ryan, because I've met the guy, and I know he's a nice guy, great guy, and on. You'd think, because most basketball coaches are up and they're animated. He just sits in the.
No, it's not his demeanor.
30.
It's not his demeanor.
No, it was his legs crossed, and he gets up and he calls a kid over and he coaches him. But there's no.
He's like baseball manager status.
It was a very good game to go watch, and CF is a very good basketball.
By the way, they're nationally ranked now too.
Right.
So
I mean, they're 21-2, and remember, like I said, they avenged the first loss they had. And the second loss was a team that they hadn't even game planned for. They were told an hour before they were going to play them, oh, by the way, this is who you're playing.
Yeah. So CF on the roll. They'll continue to win. They're nationally ranked. So I haven't been out this year. You ought to try to get out to a game. I think you'll be surprised the quality of basketball.
I was amazed how many people were there last night.
Brother, good. Not a formidable opponent.
I bet there were 500 people there last night.
Okay. Nice little crowd.
That is.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We're going to talk to the man who knows horses. He writes about them, he knows them, and he's going to share some of his knowledge with us right here on the program called Buddy Sports Page. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family-first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little bit of something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none, and we have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source.
If you want to avoid getting ripped off and put more money in your pocket, then join me, Clark Howard, every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA, The Source.
They've served our country. They've kept us free. And they need your help.
We're sitting in Veterans Park. You can't sit here not realizing that you're surrounded by heroes. There are a lot of heroes in our community. A lot of heroes, unfortunately, are not in good financial shape. They're hurting both physically and financially. We step in and help directly. Our role is to reach out to them. We're there to help the veteran. We do counseling. We do outreach. Sometimes it's just coming into the office and sitting down and saying, hey, I've got a problem, and you're talking to another veteran who understands that problem.
Everybody who works for the Vets Helping Vets are awesome, and they are so kind to everybody. They're like my second family. They really are.
They have been there during the holidays. I have gotten unexpected visits, assistance.
Vets Helping Vets of Marion County needs your help. Call today, 352-433-2320, and pledge your support to Vets Helping Vets of Marion County.
It really has been a blessing.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's ocalaforsale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. Ocalaforsale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Ernie Sprantz. Join me weekday mornings at 10:50 for Report to Consumers. Consumer news you can use from your hometown station. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Good talk, great conversation. WOCA, News Talk 1370.
All right, welcome back to the Voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin Sports Page here on a Thursday. Talking a little hoop today. Going to be talking horses. You know, there's already odds, guys, for the Derby. I've got a list of the horses, and there's a couple on there that got my eye this morning. I'll talk with Michael Compton about it in a moment. Michael just filed me also his latest blood horse piece, which we'll talk about and get into the season.
Where'd you find odds for the Derby already?
Michael sent them to me.
It's good to be on the in crowd, buddy.
Yeah,
You're in there.
It is. And we talked about two of these horses on this program a couple of weeks ago. One of them is a local horse, and one of them just won an Eclipse Award. So getting into our horse racing mode, little golf news going on. Just the golf is on the case. And
well, can I just tell you that
you can hold off on it until we get through with Michael. But anyways, just
I am on the case.
Had a major player withdraw from the tournament.
We did.
About, all right. Also tell you about the new home that Elon is building down in Palm Beach County. All right. Our man, Michael W. Compton, is in the house. Hello, Michael.
Hey, buddy. How are you guys today?
Terrific. I just want to say I enjoy reading every one of those odds you sent me on the Kentucky Derby. And, yes, I did read them, by the way.
It's terrific. Yeah, I thought I'd share those with you. It's a little too early. You need some big odds if you're going to wager this far out. I mean,
really.
It's obviously not an intelligent wager, but it's a lot of fun to do.
Whoever said we were intelligent.
Right.
However, there are some names on there that you mentioned earlier, which we'll talk about, that, with odds, which I thought were kind of attractive, considering that all of them are very high. There's a couple of them that aren't quite so high, so we'll share that in a minute. All right, so you had this article out on Fred Bryan, which is in the latest Blood Horse magazine. And talk about Fred Bryan, why he's important.
You know, Fred he's done wonders with the program. I mean, he is the kind of breeder and especially here in Florida. I mean, he started his own racing program. Through the years, the better horses he held on to and either made them stallions or made them mares instead of selling. And he breeds to race for the most part. So he's a guy who loves the thrill of racing. But his better horses he hung on to and started his own operation, basically, of breeding his mares to his stallions. And his program really took off, after 10 or 12 years in the business of having some moderate success at the racetrack. But then beginning his own breeding program, he really saw his operation go to the next level. And he made some good points, in the interview and the article that just came out, and talked about knowing his mares and knowing his stallions and conformational faults, strength, character, quirks, and just being able to match up the mares with the stallions, compensate for the shortcomings of each. And he has just produced runner after runner, and we've talked about a lot of them on the show. Awesome Feather, Jackson Bend, who's now a stallion here in town, and I mean he's gone all over the country. His horses have done well, and he loves to watch his horses race. So when he gets a real good one, he tends to sell those horses, and they go often and enjoy a lot of success in other people's colors. So
of course,
he's definitely
go ahead.
different. Yeah.
Fred's, of course, at Jackson Better Farm. That's out in Reddick, 89-acre farm, as you point out in your article. And I remember talking to him some time ago when he had Jackson Bend. Right. He didn't want to say too much about it during that time.
Right.
He said, call me about it later. But he's pretty close to the vest. But you got to talk quite a bit here in this article. He's obviously a guy who knows what he wants to do, and he's kind of private with his opinions sometimes.
He is, and I joke with Fred because I knew him well in my years at the FTBOA, and he was a president for a couple of my later years there. And he's a guy that he definitely has strong feelings. He definitely has the industry as a whole in mind with a lot of his decisions, as a leader in this industry, and definitely here in Ocala. But he's a very colorful interview. A lot of his off-the-record stories are just as good as the ones that we're able to write about.
I'll bet they are. I saw an article today, a very short article in the Star Banner. I don't have it with me on page 2 about how many millions of dollars Kentucky said their horse program generated, a horse thing that they generated. They call themselves, of course, the horse capital of the world. And I thought about myself. I wonder if you applied this same thing to here, how it would relate to that naturally. The industry's been down. The sales are up. The Hitch program, I guess, was successful. Talk about the industry and how it's sort of climbed out of this deep black hole and how things are starting to click again.
It has, buddy, and the thoroughbred industry definitely runs in cycles. And I think a lot of people close to the game and close to the industry expected it to turn around. I know that we've hit bottom, and judging by the sales, we can tell that. People are coming back. They're a little more comfortable investing in race horses again. And as you mentioned, the sales are strong. So as the people that acquire these horses, if the sales go on to have success at the racetrack, I think you're going to see more people stepping back up and breeding the mares. In the last few years when the industry, it certainly did feel like it hit bottom. A lot of people were more cautious and conservative. They didn't breed their mares, and that impacts the stallion population. It impacts people retiring nice racehorses and deciding where to stand them at stud. So when things are tough, it's definitely felt at every level. And Ocala, of course, being a breeding and training hub, really, it definitely impacted the business here on a lot of levels. But it is turning around, and I do believe that people are willing to spend again to get a racehorse and chase that dream at the racetrack. And I think the rest of the segments of the business will pick up as we go along.
MichaelWCompton.com is the name of the website, and you can check it out there, or Blood Horse Magazine. I'm looking at this list of sires in Florida that you sent me, which is interesting. I started looking down at the variety of who all is here, and I see some familiar names that keep being repeated. I see Journeyman Farm, of course, Journeyman Stud, which has Wildcat Air, number 2, and you go on and see a lot of Stonewall Farm. There's a lot of Ocala Stud farms, obviously. So those, obviously, they're doing quite a bit of stuff here. Journeyman is on there several times. I would say looks like 6 of the top 25 are from Stonewall, maybe more. And Journeyman's got 4 or 5. Talk about those operations a little bit.
Yeah, and actually these days I'm doing a lot of the marketing and the ads for Stonewall. They stand a horse, Lawada Sanamo, who is a spectacular stallion. He sired Animal Kingdom, who won the 2011 Kentucky Derby. Journeyman Stud is another big farm here. You know Ocala Stud very well. Bridlewood's still around. They have a new stallion coming this year, and going back to Stonewall, they attracted Big Drama last year. He's a Florida bred through and through, and he's by Ocala Stud's Montbrook, and he stood his first season out at Stonewall last year. He's another promising sire, and maybe he's the horse that can carry on Montbrook's torch, you know, as Montbrook gets up there in age, and Big Drama's a very promising, very fast racehorse. So, yeah, I mean, it's great that we have 5 or 6 big operations that are here that still believe in the industry, that still want to bring in these kind of stallions for Florida's breeders.
And Stonewall's got a horse I can't pronounce who gets 25,000 or 22,500
yes,
per
25,000.
The highest one of the top 25. The horse, I think, is Leroy's Animox. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, he's known as Leroy. That's a little easier to remember.
I can remember Leroy.
But he's the one who sired Animal Kingdom, and it's Lawada de Sanamo, and that actually means King of the Animals. So it's French for King of the Animals.
All right. Now I'm just calling Leroy from now on.
Right. That's what we all do.
Yeah. All right, so now we come to the fun part. Tom's over here right now taking notes. He always loves it when you come on, when you start talking Derby. He gets excited. He starts salivating, thinking, I'm going to get me a horse. I'm going to get out of the pack. I'm going to find me a horse.
I got a Derby horse.
All right, well, let's let Michael give us his.
I remember last year he had a couple, too.
Oh, yeah. He always has a couple.
He usually doesn't need much help.
Well, yes, he does. And so do I.
Yeah, I still need help.
Now, I want to say that we know this is ridiculous to try to pick a horse at this point in time. But the whole list, I don't know how many it were, 300 or more, at least, maybe more than that, 500 names you sent me. Talk about how this comes about. These are 2 years old who are going to be 3 years old, right?
Yeah, that was maybe that was late December or early January that I sent you that list. And the Wynn Sportsbook in Vegas is one of they're always one of the first books to release the odds on these horses. So basically, the only way to get on that list as a 2-year-old, you have to be impressive in either breaking your maiden or winning an allowance race. So there were times we talked on your show at the end of last year when it's so early. But all you have to do really is win impressively and find yourself on the list. If you happen to win the Breeders' Cup like Shanghai Bobby did, if you place in any of those big races, obviously you're going to find your way onto the win, the future book odds there. So most of the action, the big heavy action, usually comes from the insiders at that point. Like Doug O'Neill, his wager last year on I'll Have Another at one of those books in Vegas, was well publicized and chronicled after the fact. And a lot of the people that are close to the barns, it's just another thing to follow.
Yeah.
It's like trying to predict.
It's fun. It's just like spring training in baseball, trying to figure out who's going to be the rotation for the Yankees or the Dodgers in your case. But I want to ask
the list, buddy.
Well, I'm going to mention a couple right here. The list is long. I went through and I, based on the names that Michael gave me, I remembered several horses. Of course, Shanghai Bobby won an Eclipse Award. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I saw a couple of names I hadn't heard of, and the early odds I saw on there were Violence, 12-1. I have no idea what that horse is about.
Oh, I like that.
Golden, yeah, you like that Violence. You're a UFC guy. JJ likes that. Cage fighting.
Right.
Golden Sense you told us about. That's Rick Pitino's horse, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
18-1. And then Normandy Invasion, 25-1. And Overanalyzed 31. Those are some of the ones. So comment quickly on those, and Tom's dying to ask a question about it.
Yeah, Golden Sense is, as we mentioned before, too, co-owned by Rick Pitino, looking for some May Madness instead of March Madness this year for him. Shanghai Bobby won the Breeders' Cup. He's an Eclipse Award winner now. So, yeah, those horses, at 15, 20, 25-1, those are ridiculous odds for being so far out. We're 100 days away from the Kentucky Derby today. And you guys from, following last year's Triple Crown run so closely, remember that right up to the last day before the Belmont Stakes, people thought we were going to be watching the Triple Crown, and horses, not right or off in a foot or something. So, yeah, being 100 days away from a race, it's almost impossible. But like you said, a lot of it is in the chase. And I think in all my years of always finding a few horses to put a few dollars on in January, I think I've made it to the Derby 3 or 4 times, and they've never won. So they never.
There you go. And I was going to say,
they go on and win the Belmont.
Yeah, none of these horses might be in the Derby. I mean, none of them could end up being. So it's it's a fragile business.
Even on Derby Day, you have horses at 30, 40, 50 to 1.
Right.
So to think that you take 20 to 1 in January on a horse that could take a bad step tomorrow. It's a ridiculous bet, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have bragging rights if you're even close.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, this is Tom here, and I've got a horse that last year it won the Vandal Stakes. It won the Iroquois Stakes.
You have no idea what that is.
It won the Kentucky Derby Club race.
Talking like a handicap.
Uncaptured. Looks like a horse that's going to make the Derby.
Yeah, and he's trained by Mark Cassidy, so he's an Ocala guy. You can't go wrong with those ties. And Violence, JJ's horse there, he won a big race in California at the end of the year, and he's in Todd Pletcher's barn, so you know that horse probably got his training start right here in Ocala. I mean, plenty of Ocala ties to support, Uncaptured and Violence, both of them, I'm sure.
The only horse I want to talk to him about is Dwight Howard.
What team is he being traded to today?
Yeah, exactly.
What team is he being traded to?
Where's he going to finish the Derby, by the way?
Right.
Speaking of which, I just want to go on the record right now. I'm saying Golden Sense and Shanghai Bobby. That's my Quinella, just in case you wanted to know. All right, now. So let's talk about the Eclipse Awards for a second. Why it's important, though, there's a substantial. How many Eclipse Awards? Not that many. And we had, 3 horses? One of them Shanghai Bobby that won one?
Sure, Shanghai Bobby won, and Trinneberg was the champion sprinter. His sire stands out at Journeyman Stud, and he's an OBS graduate, and I'll have another, obviously his well-chronicled year last year, but another OBS graduate. So we were light on Florida breds this year. I sure thought Little Mike had a fighting chance in the turf division because he won so many big races last year and won the Breeders' Cup. But Wise Dan won 3 titles, 3 division titles, and the horse hadn't done that since John Henry in the late 1970s. So a big night for Wise Dan and his connections. But I sure thought Florida bred Little Mike would come away with the turf title, and he didn't.
No. All right. So now, what's the next story for Michael Compton? You got your piece out in Blood Horse on Fred Bry. What are you working on next?
Yeah, looking forward to doing a feature on Bridlewood Farm, the late Arthur Appleton and his family, and that farm is still going. And there'd been talk the last couple of years of closing it down, but they're back for another breeding season and still alive. So we're going to do a feature on them for the Blood Horse coming up for February.
It's so true. You know this more than anybody because you make a living doing it. There's so many good stories in horse racing that people don't know about and don't get a chance to hear unless they read Michael Compton, which they can do in Blood Horse and michaelwcompton.com. But this horse racing, to me, is one of those. There's a reason some of the greatest sports writers of all time loved horse racing.
So many stories, and you're so correct. And, just the atmosphere of the racetrack, just the horses themselves, the characters that this game attracts.
Oh, my gosh.
And, at the highest level, it really, to me, it's the greatest game out there. And, I love basketball, football, everything else. But at the highest levels at horse racing, and with the characters and everything that's tied to this game, there's no game like it to me, and absolutely love it.
Yeah, and talk about people, talk about a dichotomy, talk about from one end to the other, you have the stable hands and the multimillionaires all mixing together in the same group. It's kind of interesting. All right, so let's go take your punishment. Let's talk about the Lakers.
There's really not much to talk about. They look old. They look slow. They're not motivated. I can't even watch the Sports Center interviews anymore.
If they were a horse, they'd put them down by now.
I think you're right. I hate that. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I hate it.
He even got the right lingo, too. Put him down. I didn't know he would do that.
I hate that.
Right about now, I think probably Tom James or Laurie Martin Gregory or Gary will be on his way over to choke JJ after that comment.
They may.
We hang out with too many Laker fans.
We have a lot of
We do have a lot of Laker fans we hang out with.
Well, listen, the hope is the spring's eternal for you. Your Dodgers might be better this year, and so you may have to become a Clipper fan. Who knows?
Right. There is one good basketball team in LA. I know you guys talk about Twitter and the different tweets you see and things. The Not Bill Walton tweet, I guess a week or two ago, he had that Mike D'Antoni loves Django Unchained. because there's a lot of shots fired and the D is silent.
I like that.
Pretty good.
Well, there
fire.
you go.
That's
I'm
a good
not
one,
about
Dan.
taking shots. They're not performing up to par this year.
Pretty good.
Oh, my goodness. Michael, as always, good stuff. Thanks a lot.
All right, you guys.
You can read Michael on michaelwcomment.com or in Blood Horse Magazine near you. Thanks a lot, Mike.
All right, you guys. Take care.
Take a break, come back. We talk with Franz Beard about hoop. And what else is happening? How about this Braves trade deal? What is up
Wait
with that?
till you see
And Tiger's playing.
who's 6 under with 3 holes to go.
Well, I guess I just ruined it.
In his first round of golf in the U.S.
Let's call it
that JJ just ruined.
Just in case you want to know.
He's stuck behind the tree.
And then I'll call it, what do you see dropped out, and what do you hear is building a house in Palm Beach. All coming up next on Buddy Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price to fixed rate allowance. Offers don't combine.
I'm a car dealer who is feeling blue. I have too many cars and don't know what to do. If you're willing to put down $1 or $2, my misfortune can be a bonus for you.
Hello, this is Chris Beers from Prestige Auto Sales, and I'm going loony. Last month I took in too many trades, and now I've got cars in spades. Plus, additional cars are arriving daily. I have no idea where to put them, and I need your help. That means this week, 27 cars must go.
So if you've got the desire to drive a nicer, newer car, in $2, you're in luck. It's my New Year, Blue Year, Drive for 2 here sale.
Bad credit? Don't sweat it.
Our For the People credit approval process can help you drive away today, even if it takes some extra rhyming and reasoning with the banks to get it done. Our lot is full, and that's no bull. $2 down is all you'll pay to drive a nicer, newer car today.
I'm Chris Beers from Prestige Auto Sales, and I'm a dealer for the people. See us in Ocala or Bellevue.
Or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Making a list of 3 things that go well every day increase the happiness levels of volunteers. And the longer volunteers continue to write down what made them grateful, the better they felt. For every 1 point increase in our body mass index, scientists say we'll experience a 1 point decrease in memory. Stand as far away from sick people as possible and do not get into a confined space with them like an elevator.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Why is everyone so obsessed with virtual reality and high definition? My neighbor came over yesterday to show me the photographs he took of the pansies and dianthus that I got from Kenny's Place Nursery. He had this electronic pad, and with the flip of his finger, he showed me these beautiful shots he took in my garden. And then he said, you can almost smell them. That's when I used my finger and motioned him to the garden, and then pointing with my cursor, also known as my finger, I pointed toward the real flowers from Kenny's Place Nursery, and I said, I can smell them. Instead of virtual reality, I enjoy real reality. But it is more than the beauty of the pansies and dianthus and more than their fragrance. It's the way they move in the breeze. It's the butterflies and bees that are attracted to them. You know, the plants I get from Kenny's Place Nursery from my garden in the real world provide me with an outdoor sanctuary to escape from that virtual world. Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. Kenny's Place Nursery, where the plants, the people, and the mission are all beautiful.
Okay, guys, listen up. It's that time of year again. Little chocolate hearts, roses, earrings,
Valentine's Day's coming up. Last year you got me slippers that didn't fit. The year before, it was that steering wheel cover for my car. And don't even get me started on the vacuum cleaner incident. Now don't get me wrong, flowers and jewelry would be nice, but this year I'd like something I can thank you for every single day. That new bathroom I've been dreaming about. You know, the one with the rain heads, body sprayers, touchless faucets, bidet, and even the seat warmer. So here's what you do. Step 1, return the crockpot and apron that you thought were good ideas. Step 2, pick up the phone and call Mike Scott Plumbing now.
You heard the lady, guys. Call today to schedule an appointment to visit one of our beautiful showrooms, the main showroom in Hernando or the new showroom in Wildwood, right across from Brownwood Square. Call today, 237-2888. That's 237-2888. And remember, if water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
And that leaf blower in the closet better be for your mother.
All right, welcome back. Watch a little golf during the break. Got some news out of Torrey Pines. Mr. Golf.
Well, Torrey Pines Farmer Insurance Open, first round play. Tiger Woods in second place. Brent Snedeker, last year's FedEx Cup champion, leading the tournament. He's in the clubhouse at 7 under. Tiger still on the course. Tiger at 6 under on the 14th. He's scrambling on 15 right now.
Fixed to make a bogey, I think.
He's about 12, 14 feet for par. He's tied in second at 6 under with about 6 other people, including Charles Howell III and Mike Weir. Mike Weir, former Masters champion. Speaking of Masters champion, a name not in the tournament this week, Bubba Watson is pulled out of the Farmers Insurance Open, citing the flu. He won in 2011 at this event. He's going to be replaced by Billy Mayfair in the field. He says he's experiencing flu symptoms for at least the last 24 hours, and he just didn't think he could give it a go.
All right, that's the golf update. Baseball, big trade with the Braves, JJ.
Massive trade. The Braves ended up getting the second Upton, who a lot of people think is the more talented Upton. Justin Upton was traded for Randall Delgado, Martin Prado, and some prospects. They also got Chris Johnson to play third.
Who did they trade with?
Arizona. They traded Martin Prado, who was supposed to take over at third for Chipper Jones, who we all know retired. So the Braves look like they have one of the best outfields if the Uptons don't get hurt and BJ doesn't strike out a lot.
That's the problem. Justin, I mean, the wind blows hard. The wind blows hard. He's on the DL,
right.
And BJ, he strikes out like he's Dave Kingman.
I think BJ's had some problems with managers and other players and stuff. But if he's playing with his brother every day, I think it's going to be a better environment than when he was in Tampa.
It's tough to lose Martin Prado, and everybody's like, well, he'll be a free agent next year. And Martin was asking for 10 plus.
Okay, enough baseball talk. We talk about it in the spring. This is January. But it's still football season.
It's spring-like outside.
Yeah, it is. If you didn't hear, Florida State lost its 6th assistant coach in 5 weeks. James Coley, quarterback's coach, is going to Miami to become the offensive coordinator. This means they've now lost 6 coaches. Jimbo Fisher has Damian Craig, James Coley, Eddie Grand, Mark Stoops, Greg Hudson, and DJ Elliott.
Buddy, how many assistant coaches do you have? 6 or 7?
You got more than that. No.
You don't have many more than that.
No,
you got grad assistants and everything.
No, you got like
you got the D-line coach. Okay, 8 or 9. So he's lost. You got the D-line, O-line, linebackers.
Yeah, well, you count them up while I'm doing this. I got a couple of tweets.
You have 8, and he's lost 7.
Yeah, 6. Sports tweets. Who do you think this is right here? I like my players to be married and in debt. That's the way you motivate them. You'd never guess this person in a million years. It's not a manager. It's a former player, a great player.
Michael Jordan.
The guy was known for his attitude being great and always said, it's a beautiful day, let's play 2.
Ernie Banks.
Ernie Banks. How about that? Here's a stat for you, JJ. I know you like stats, then we'll go to break. 49ers, the 11th different NFC team in 12 years to reach the Super Bowl. 11th different. And guess how many the AFC's had? 5. 5 on the AFC. So it seems like the same old teams are going back.
A little balance in the NFC.
Apparently so. We'll take a break, come back. Franz Beer will join us. I hope Franz will join us right here on the program called Blaze Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
You're relations got you down? Are you at your wit's end? Does the opposite sex just confuse you? Then I've got the solution for you, Dr. Buddy.
Well, let me just tell you what you slugs are doing wrong. Remember, dummy, it's about the chase and the romantic interludes, okay? Now, here's the difference. Instead of dinner and a movie, which seems obsolete these days, they have this random phone text, Facebook post, instant message, and quote-unquote non-dates. Traditional courtship, which is still what women want, guys. Picking up a telephone, asking someone on a date, maybe even going as far to pick them up in your car, requires courage, strategic planning, and a considerable investment in ego.
So now you know where to tune in to get all your relationship advice. It's the Dr. Buddy Show every Monday on the Voice of Ocala. You can succeed only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Hi, I'm Lisa Midget with Kinetic Motion Fitness, Ocala's premier small group and personal training fitness studio. Did you know you can achieve all your fitness goals, whether that's losing weight, getting fit, or training for a personal best, all with no membership fees? Have you ever been embarrassed or intimidated at a big gym because you're not a Greek god or a size 0 supermodel? Have you ever felt like your gym would rather you not even show up? At KMF, we have a team approach that focuses on small classes and personal training, and you'll feel like family, not just another number. No more boring treadmills or endless reps. Our classes are fun, energetic, and get you the results you want. And I should know, with the help of our great trainers, I lost over 100 pounds in 8 jean sizes, and I did it using no heavy equipment and no magic pills, just fun and effective workouts. And yes, I did say fun. Come join us at KMF. Visit our website at kmfocala.com or like us on Facebook. Again, that was kmfocala.com.
They've served our country. They've kept us free. And they need your help.
We're sitting in Veterans Park. You can't sit here not realizing that you're surrounded by heroes. There are a lot of heroes in our community. A lot of heroes, unfortunately, are not in good financial shape. They're hurting both physically and financially. We step in and help directly. Our role is to reach out to them. We're there to help the veteran. We do counseling. We do outreach. Sometimes it's just coming into the office and sitting down and saying, hey, I've got a problem, and you're talking to another veteran who understands that problem.
Everybody who works for the Vets Helping Vets are awesome, and they are so kind to everybody. They're like my second family. They really are.
They have been there during the holidays. I have gotten unexpected visits, assistance.
Vets Helping Vets of Marion County needs your help. Call today, 352-433-2320, and pledge your support to Vets Helping Vets of Marion County.
It really has been a blessing.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. All right, back to the program. Going out to Gainesville and Francis Beard, who I'm sure was watching every minute of the way last night as the Gators came stumbling out of the blocks in Athens. Looked for a while like a repeat performance we'd seen earlier this year. Looked terrible the first 10 minutes, saved by Scotty Wilbekin, who earned his scholarship in the first half as Florida wound up prevailing over Georgia 17 points. Francis, your assessment of that win last night?
Isn't this team starting to remind you a lot of 2006 and 2007 when You know, you could have 4 guys off and one guy, you know, it might be Lee Humphrey one night or Corey Brewer one night or Joe Kim Noah or Al Horford. But somebody always figured out a way to step up and hold the team together until they all got it together. And this team is starting to remind me of that.
Good point. And Patrick Young and Murphy, they didn't show up till about 10 minutes ago in the game, although they did score in the second half. But the first half, they were terrible. They had a combined 3 points, I believe.
Well, Murphy ended up having to sit about 12 minutes because of a bogus call by John Cahill.
Yeah.
I mean, he got pulled down, and it was right in front of Cahill. This is a guy that should not be officiating. But anyway, that's not the story altogether.
I agree. It was a horrible call. I agree with that. So now, you know, before we anoint them, they do have to win some games. They got Mississippi State right this weekend.
Mississippi State, which is really scrappy, but doesn't have the depth and really doesn't have the guards that can handle the kind of pressure that Florida can give. You know, I suspect because they're so tough at home that, you know, for the first half it'll be a pretty good ball game. In the second half, Florida will do what they did to Georgia.
I told you the other day I liked their guard play. Kenny Boynton is still spotty. He's a terrific defensive player. He's a good assist man. He's struggling with his shooting. Finally, last night, started hitting his 3. If this team ever does get healthy and start making its shots, which is not doing, and quit having disappearing acts like they did last night from Murphy and Young, you know, and having counting on a guy, but of all guys to think it would carry the team, I think the starting 5, Scotty Wilbekin would be the last one I would think to do that. 13 of the 17 points the first half.
Well, Scotty is very, very capable. When I caught on to him, we were with Gator Country back in those days, and I was in Houston, if you remember, and I came back with a glowing report of Scotty. He was playing on the AAU circuit, and 2 weeks later he was enrolled in school at the University of Florida. And I saw him out there against some of the top talent in the entire country. I saw him absolutely scorch Mean Streets out of Chicago, which had a guy named Antonio Davis playing for it. And Scotty Wilbekin, I remember, drove the lane, scored on him at will. I mean, Scotty's a real player. It's a matter of confidence with him. And let me add one thing quickly about Kenny Boynton, because I know we're starting to push for time. Kenny, unfortunately, is the guy that is not afraid to take a shot when the clock is running down. And so many of the shots he's missing, I've gone back and watched the film, so many of the shots he's missing are highly contested shots when he's the guy that's got to take the shot at the end of the shot clock because nobody else is taking it. Last night, he had 2 threes that he attempted that he missed. He was 2 for 6. Should have been only 2 for 4 because he ended up taking 2 shots with the shot clock under 5 after guys had totally passed on wide open shots. And these guys can't do that. You can't put Kenny in that situation. It makes Kenny look bad, and Kenny's a better ball player than that.
We're talking with Franz Beard, Tom Schmitz here. I'm looking at their turnover total because that's when you give away the basketball for free. Florida only had 6. This Florida team seems to turn the ball over a lot less than Florida teams in the past. How big a difference does that make?
Well, it's huge. It goes back to what we were talking about on Monday, Tom, when we were talking about points per possession, which Dean Smith always said was the stat that every other stat revolves around. You know, you look at it like this. The Gators are averaging 63.5 possessions in a game. So if you turn the ball over, let's say 15 times, that means you've got 48 possessions on which you can score. You better be shooting something like 55-60% to overcome that kind of turnover rate. You know, you can't do it. You can't go possessions without at least having a shot at the basket. And that's all turnovers do, is they totally negate a shot at the basket. That means that possession, and you only got a limited number, that means that possession is just thrown out the window.
You know, watching last night, and they put a graphic up on the screen about the amazing stats. We only got about 45 seconds of Kenny Boynton's career because he's going to play 4 years. And by the time he gets through, he'll have all those numbers, most minutes, most 2-point shots. He'll have incredible records for a career. You just don't realize what Kenny Boynton has done till you look up at his career stat.